Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 863, powered by NZXT. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa, and I am still powered and still full of hot dogs. I can't get it out of my system. I think I've become part hot dog, but that's okay because I'm tucked inside a cozy, warm bun. Speaking about cozy, warm buns, we've got the co-captain of this ship. Great googly moogly. That thing is juicy. Jeff Grubb.
I have taught at least one of my children, great googly moogly, that thing is juicy, because she was just watching YouTube and a workout video came up and she's like, look at that juicy butt, and I couldn't help myself. So that's now infecting my home, and I'm happy about it. Jan, I am glad that you are still mostly hot dogs. That is a good thing to be.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. I'm glad for this wellness check. Speaking about infecting homes, he's done infecting homes with GameSense, and soon he's going to be infecting his own home with some of these hooligans on this podcast. Dan Reichert.
That's right. November 2nd, Extra Life. Probably starting around afternoon, noonish, a little after lunch, and we'll go late into the night. We'll have a good time, but yeah, that'll be in a couple weeks.
And playing the role of Mike Minotti this week on the podcast.
Ew.
I'm sorry. It's because he's on assignment.
No, he's not. He was up too late trying to beat my fucking score in Astro Bot. He's sleeping in because he couldn't beat my fucking score.
He's scared.
I know.
We've got the fastest man because fast is in his name. Turbo Sean McDowell.
People only listen to plugs at the beginning of the show, so bit.ly/GBXL24. Sign up for Extra Life if you want to stream. Donate if you want to donate early.
Hey, I came up with a dumb idea because it may be a little bit difficult to get the West Coasters together for Extra Life this year because of a lack of a studio. And this is how B Week started, so I'm just going to say the idea out now.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I like this.
Maybe
Chance flying to Minnesota?
Yeah,
I mean, I could, sure. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to fly out to Minnesota, not because of anything. But representing the West Coast this year, part of whatever presence we will be doing is I will be streaming The Quiet Man for 12 hours in complete silence.
What the hell, Jan?
And if I will have an audio waveform thing, and if I exceed certain decibels, I will restart the run.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to send Rory in there to fart, and that's going to count. You're going to have to restart.
The respect I have for this man right
This
now.
is such a good bit.
He's not done.
No, the bits are still going.
Oh, no.
Any donation above $69
Nice.
will restart the run no matter where I'm at.
Oh, my God, Jan.
And you're committing to 12 hours?
I'm committing to 12 hours of The Quiet Man.
And you're restarting every time there's a donation above 69.
Yep.
This is perfect.
This is going to be
For
very
the
successful.
kids, y'all.
Yes.
For the kids.
For the kids.
Oh, Jan, you're not going to beat it once, are you?
I don't.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, for audio listeners,
Yeah.
he turned into Mike Minotti and looked at the camera.
Yeah.
It was kind of like seeing someone get possessed. I was scared for a second. Like, I know it's October,
No, he's sweepy.
but he's sweepy.
That's
Extra
incredible,
Life.
Jan.
Yeah, I'm so amazed.
No, don't be. I don't know why I do this.
Do you want us to hand the baton to you, or do you want to? Because we'll go late into the night Central Time. We'll figure out the details and we'll announce it. But
Yeah, you might want to do that like the next day or something.
No,
Jan,
I feel like I want to
12
start
hours.
in the darkness and then maybe see the
Jesus,
light.
Jan.
We're probably going to be going until like 2 in the morning or something.
maybe
you know, like-
more.
Yeah, probably
maybe
more.
more.
Yeah, I feel like it was like 4 a.m. or something by the time
Yeah,
we were done playing fucking
You
Mary
guys
Kate
played
and
around
Ashley
like
last year.
3:34 last
Yeah.
time, man.
Maybe
Windex
I'll
singing
go
the whole time.
Maybe I'll go like a couple hours after y'all end. Like I'll pick up in the morning.
That morning,
Okay.
yeah.
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 And then I'll go for 12.
Beautiful.
And this is all because Nikki just had to go somewhere, so I didn't fly to LA. Jeez.
Damn it, Nikki.
It's all your fault, Nikki.
This is really incredible, Jan. I'm very
Wait,
happy
Nikki's
for you.
coming to Minnesota? Oh, shit.
You're welcome.
Yeah, okay, all right. Tam and Lucy are going to Minnesota? What?
We're going to Minnesota. Yeah.
Gents, how's everyone doing? How's everything going?
Well, dude, I feel like Grub and Sean, I feel like we might have similar experiences. Maybe over the last week between a late Mario Party and a lot of Astro Bot. Grub,
Astro Bot.
specifically Grub, I feel like every time I've turned on my PlayStation 5 and checked my friends list, Sean, you're on a lot, but Grub will be on for like perpetually all day, and I don't know if you're just leaving it on or if your kid's playing or if...
Well, yesterday was the kid playing until the evening, and then I played. I started like 11 p.m. last night. So I played in the morning yesterday, and then I played for an hour, and then I played late at night. And the kid was playing all day because she was homesick. The day before that, I actually. I think I went to bed. Yeah, I went to bed because so I played in the morning, and then everyone beat my time, and I went to bed, and then I woke up and beat everyone's time right away. So that was really nice. But I am playing a lot. Let's be clear. I'm there was a time over the weekend where the kid wasn't feeling good, and I was laying in bed with her 2 floors up away from the PlayStation 5, and I was streaming it to the Steam Deck, and it was artifacting and had megapixels that these big blocky pixels. It was indecipherable, and there was a little bit of latency, and I was still just playing through there and doing pretty good times actually. So it's been a lot.
It's been. I had a 7-hour stretch all at once while I was watching Kayla's stream, and as she was signing off, I beat her time, which was my goal, and it was 29.05 or something is what I got. And I called her, and she immediately went in and just destroyed my time. But the current standings, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, it is Grub up top, then Kayla, then Sean, then me, then Vitelli, several other people, then Mitch.
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
No. To be clear, Jesse Vitelli spanks everyone, so he.
Okay, so let's not mention him.
Did Jesse go back above me because I beat him last night?
Oh, you beat him last night?
Yeah, I'm 44th in the world. Yeah.
Let's not count Jesse Vitelli then.
Why don't we count Young Elmo? What's wrong with Young Elmo?
Well,
He's too good. He's
I'm
too
fine
good.
with counting him. I'm beating him. That's fine with me.
I didn't play last night, so I didn't see the leaderboard update. Okay.
Well, in the Twitch chat right now, all caps is Team Kayla saying Grub is my rival.
Yeah,
and, she texted me earlier saying that tomorrow is her day off, and basically you're fucked, Grub.
Oh no. I don't. Listen, I do think there's a chance that we're going to maybe to very near 27. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to those. So, okay. So it took a long time for us to get into the 28 seconds, and that was a lot of work. And now it's at a point where, okay, I know what to do to get pretty consistently in 28 seconds. Last night I was consistently 28, 28.8, 28.7, and then it's I fixed one thing, and that got me 28.3-ish. So that's where I'm at right now.
What's everyone doing in terms of controller remapping? I go back and forth. I never use R2 anymore. I'm switching between square or the back paddle on the edge.
R1.
R1. Yeah.
You're doing R1? I've never tried R1. Okay.
Yeah, I switched to R1.
It's really nice because then my hand will just rest sort of, with thumb, the sort of like how a lot of people hold a Super Nintendo controller where the joint to your thumb is on X, and then just my index finger naturally rests on R1, so you just do that repeatedly, just alternating between them as necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I realize we're talking about games now.
Oh. It's all we're thinking about.
This podcast is Astro Bot.
There's a sickness around me, and I'm scared
it was
for
the
my
weekend.
friends.
It was the whole weekend, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think it's going to keep coming for 3 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 more weeks.
5 total.
Yeah.
5
5 total
total
weeks.
Oh.
Yes, there's 5 levels. So yeah, when I started playing on the Steam Deck, Sean mentioned it's oh yeah, you can just hit this button and it's just going to respond. And I started playing. I'm like, wait, this does feel way better, even with the latency. So what's going on here? So I went back, and then I didn't. Because I'm stubborn. I only just watched Zelius's, who is the speedrunner, his explanation for the first time, for real, last night after my world record time. I'm like, okay, most of the stuff hey, using the car wash pillars to know if you're on a good pace. If you can go to the left of that. At the time that was very frustrating is I watched Jesse Vitelli's run, and he hugged the wall, and he was like, oh man, that's so fast. And then I did so fast that I hugged the wall, and I still hit the pillar because I went even faster. I was like, well, now, okay, that would have been the best run ever, and I screwed it up because I didn't go to the left. So now I'm committed to going to the left of that pillar, and kind of figuring that stuff out, and now like going back and like relearning like what I did to like on that like the fastest runs when I was kind of just like in a fugue state.
Yeah.
That like it breaks it down to the point where like now I'm playing worse for a little while, and I have to like rebuild myself up to like actually understand what I'm doing, because I can't just go in the fugue state anymore because I have too much knowledge about the way it works. It's crazy.
The fugue state thing is real because like for the last 3 hours of that 7-hour chunk, I was like blowing it, getting nowhere near like my score.
Yes.
And then I was just like, it was like 3 a.m. I had like 8 or 9 beers. I was just like tired, and I was like, and all of a sudden it's just like, boom, I just destroyed my best time. And it's like, because I wasn't even thinking, my brain was just shut down, and it was pure repetition, you know?
All right, now, first and foremost, Jan, do you keep hearing the Yug state like I do? I'm just thinking about
Yug.
Joey Wheeler.
No, I always hear, anytime I hear a hard U sound, like a deep U, I just hear you.
Kind of goes to that.
What if you guys like just bring 3 more, 5 more? Everyone just brings a PS5 to Dan's house and just
I'm trying to
play
use
Astro Bot.
I'm trying to make this flight cheap, Jan. I ain't trying to
I got
carry
extra ones. You can do
a
if we
fucking
wanna do it.
monolith with me.
I got extras. We can all play.
That's true. I know you have extra PS5s.
Steal it, Sean.
That's right. This is going to still be happening. Like there will be
it
new
will
levels out
be.
when we're there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to bring a bunch of TBs down.
No. We got like we just
capture
like
them all
take turns, or whatever. Yeah.
I was gonna
Like,
say if you had extra monitors, I actually had an idea that I wanted to do for that. So
No, we could all just be logged into my account, and we'll all just pass the controller. How about
See,
that?
I
Very
knew he'd
funny,
try to
yeah.
suggest that somehow.
That's what I'm doing. I just have a neighbor kid come over and play for me. He's really good. So yeah.
Is young Elmo your neighbor?
It really is like at a point where we're kind of having to do it perfect. Like you have to play perfect, and there is that like every time I do sit down now, like we talked about, like what you were saying, Dan, where a couple like an hour and a half at least of these runs are all really bad. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and at the very least now I'll go through a section like the ramp where you're supposed to hit 6 boosts, and I'll be like, okay, I know that was too slow. I can tell what I'm doing wrong now, so I'll start the run over. And we'll just get back in there, and I can make a small adjustment. Let's see if that works. And then sometimes I just get like a bug in my gameplay, the yips, where I'm making the same mistake every single time. And no matter what I do, I think I'm correcting it, and I'm not. And it's kind of maybe getting worse. And it's fun, but boy, is it infuriating sometimes.
It's interesting that you said like bug in your gameplay, because this level is making me like Astro Bot less because of the bugs in Astro Bot.
Like which one specifically?
The edge guarding pisses me off so much.
When you're going down a slide?
Well, no. Okay, because there will be times where the game just eats my input. Because Astro's like, oh, I'm about to go off an edge. I don't want to do that.
If you run perpendicular at an edge, he stops unless you time the jump
where he does
perfect.
the like, whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like Mario will carry his momentum off, and you have a few frames there where you could still jump.
Coyote time.
It's like the Donkey Kong Country, like you can roll off an edge and then jump.
Yeah, big coyote time on that one. Named after Roadrunner, I believe.
Yeah.
But it really pisses me off because, on the one hand, it's good for the speed running because it allows you to ride the edge of the slides really well without falling off. That's nice, but the amount of runs I've had where my boost was, I guess, technically too perfect, since this is old school console speed running, it's hard to tell what we're doing wrong because we can't use tools to look at some of the stuff a little more. So I think what's happening is I'm timing it a little too just on the edge, and so the edge guarding will kick in and it will eat my boost, and that's run over, and that's happened way too many times. It's really annoying.
I have an issue a lot when you go off the bounce pad before the car wash and before the bam, 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 and you got to like do the tiniest little tap to do the boost into the bam, 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 bam. And it'll like, if I do it too fast, it reads it as one long boost and just sends me into the chasm there. You know?
I don't. And even when I mapped it to R1, I'm like, well, I'm not holding the trigger, so why is the game doing this? Why was it a long one? It's just,
So that one, Mike Tyson is coming into play here. Buffering. Have you guys been buffering your boosts?
I was thinking about that.
So
define that.
So you okay. Once the dog's butt starts to come back down, we must sound insane.
This is true.
Once the dog's butt starts to come back down, you can then hold down boost, and as soon as he's capable to do a boost again, it will activate immediately.
That's also
Motherfucker, this
when
game
they're
has negative edge? Are you kidding me?
Okay, so this is very important.
There's negative edge. There's edge guarding. Oh my god, just constant edge.
No, this has been
all.
plaguing fighting games for decades now, and it's in Astro Bot speedrunning too. I hate this shit.
So this is crucial for the beginning. So that first jump off of so you do the jump off the slide and you boost into it. If you buffer the boost off of that first bounce pad, he'll perfectly do the jump
really?
onto the next
That?
platform. Yes, and
I was
you'll
wondering
land
how people were
perfectly
doing
on
it
it.
that perfectly.
I do it perfect every time now because of that.
I just got good at that. I spent way too long getting good at it.
Right. This is what happened. Right. Exactly. And then I'm like, okay, now I got to learn how to incorporate this buffer. It breaks your gameplay completely for like a half an hour while you learn these new techniques. It's insane.
You got to look at the dog ass, and yeah, you're right. As soon as it starts going down, it's just you let go of the boost and you start buffering the next one. Yeah.
This website has been saying dog bottom for the longest time, so the truth remains. My question for you boys: we got 4 more levels.
Yeah.
Once those levels come out, are you gonna? What is the strategy? Are you just gonna try and tackle the new level, or are you gonna go back and try and outdo
I'm
everyone?
I'm shock and all right now. I'm trying to get as terrible of a time as possible to scare people away from coming back to these levels, so I don't have to go back.
The big question, though, is with the speedrun levels, there were 8 of them in the last Astro's Playroom.
There's a question.
They did a cumulative thing where it's like your total time, all 8 of them added up. And I viewed that as like the ultimate, like that's the Crown Jewel Championship belt, the ultimate one.
I also won that.
So I'm hoping that after the 5 are released, or even as more than one is released, there is a cumulative time. And so
rule.
even if like Grub, your mountain run time on Playroom might have destroyed me, I still have a shot of what if I get the ultimate score though, the cumulative one? They're not going to act like that's the most important one,
That is what has been stressing me out about this, because this is not how I speedrun games. This is how modern speedrunning kind of works, where people try to get level times. Grub was big into Neon White getting that level time. Any speedrunning I've done has always been full game playthroughs, where it'd be something as big as a Metroid game or something as short as a Mario 16 star run in 64. So I've always had the mentality of, I kind of screwed this thing up. It's okay, I can make up for it by being really good later in the game.
Right.
But here, there's no room for error.
That's why this works for me, because it's my obsessive perfection.
Yeah, exactly. So
And it's like, it is genuinely tough to you can load it up and be like, all right, I'm just going to try, 15 minutes or 10 minutes, going to try a few runs here. And then you're just like, well, I can't end on that one. I can't end on that one. And then fast forward 3-4 hours. It's like, well, here I am. My hand hurts.
3 a.m.
30 seconds is the perfect amount of time to make that happen, where it's just like, I could do another run, 30 seconds. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if it's a longer thing, when I was doing Quackshot stuff for Mike Tyson, it's like, okay, we're talking about 20, 30 minutes, you know? So, I'll try a run or two. But this one is just again.
And that's why, when I'm playing this, it's clearly it is speed running, but I'm like, this is not, I'm a speedrunner. I'm racing my friends. I'm playing a mode in a video game. It is speedrunning.
I know. Speedrunning.
But I just view it different than what they're doing on Awesome Games Done Quick, where they almost all are collectively doing entire game runs. And I've done that too, and that's awesome. I mean,
that's the thing with a whole game run. Imagine all of these little things and very specific jumps and inputs and everything that you're doing. Just times it by 500 to a full game length. And
I guess I've never really done a real time attack, because I've just done Mike Tyson and this kind of stuff. So I might try that.
Quackshot was the one I did, and that was very fun to do.
Well, now that the speedrunner juices are flowing through your brain now, maybe it's finally time to do that thing that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, we really should.
I would love to do that. Yes.
Yeah, we'll just, maybe Mario 64 is kind of what we're talking about. Not to tease everybody too much. Yeah.
We've talked about it before. We just need to actually do it.
Well, you boys seem to be obsessed with time, and I think it's time to have ourselves a little spoiler cast here for the Nintendo Alarmo.
Oh, shit.
It's
Woke
awesome.
me up this morning.
I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, what did you get this morning? I woke up to, what was this morning? I had Mario. I had an oceany Mario thing this morning.
It was a Zelda one. I think it was. It must have been a Zelda stable, because it was a bunch of sounds from that.
Oh, it wasn't the one where the Great Fairy was having an orgasm? Because that was a weird one to wake up to.
Yeah, the kid asked me a lot of questions about that one.
Yeah, it's a lot of the Great Fairy moaning softly for a while, and then you get out of bed and she's like, oh.
Well, maybe I need to get one.
Emmy's playing Tears of the Kingdom, so she's familiar with a lot of this stuff because it's Breath of the Wild. But she's like, I have it all set to random Zelda. Who is this lady? What is she doing? I'm like, look, Great varies. It's hard to explain, but last night was the first time it actually, or this morning's the first time it actually woke me up because I did fall asleep with the kid because she wasn't feeling well, and I did, and I was on the side with the Alarmo, and I actually moved around, and it was like shoot doing the thing where it makes noises, and I'm like, it's kind of cool, but I also am like, shut up. It's annoying.
Yeah. I kind of love how annoying it is. And also, like, because you can set it to random, I think it kind of, because you get used to your alarm clock. It's just your phone alarm every day. It's like, oh, here's that thing. But if there's a moment of confusion as you're waking up, it kind of like wakes you up a little more. It's like, what is that, drowning Pikmin? What the fuck is this? And like the 2 days in a row when I first got it, it was drowning Pikmin woke me up. And as I moved, they like drowned harder. And then the next one was the fucking Ring Fit guy going, your muscles are happy. Yo, your muscles are happy. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And I got out of bed.
Jan, did you add drowned harder to the potential titles?
Yep. Immediately.
I saw you. Yes,
immediately.
Good man. The one that was like, I went in there to go wake the kid up right as it was going off, and it was just Zelda going, open your eyes. And I'm like, okay. All right, well, yeah, I know. I thought it was very good. Yeah. So it is bizarre, and I like it, and it's definitely for us. I think the question, like people always bring up at this point, is like, who is this thing for? Beyond weirdos like us, it's for us clearly, but I do think it is the thing that Nintendo sells during the holidays as a gift. Like this is a thing that they're trying to get, like, be like, hey, it's the gift item. Get it for the Nintendo freaks in your life.
Yeah. What is Nintendo and Game Freak doing with all of this sleep data?
Whatever.
Yeah.
I linked my Nintendo account to my alarm clock. They can have it. I don't know.
I do want to do. I did start looking into the technology of the millimeter wave radar that they have in this thing to like detect how you move.
That's what they call me.
And I wanted to see, because I'm like, I am pretty certain I read a news story about the millimeter wave detector at the airport where it's like the headline was, it can see your penis. And I think we should do, it can see through your clothes. And so I want to do a short for TikTok called Can the Alarmo See Your Penis?
Yes, please.
And I'm going to like do the research, and we'll get it put together and we'll put that out.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
Okay.
So the Alarmo is supposed to detect when things get up out of bed. I'm really, really worried about what you're trying to put on video here, Jeff.
Listen, I'll be tasteful. Come on, I'm the most tasteful guy you know. That's what you always say about me.
We never had issues with that yet.
Also, that fucking button, that is the best button
It's
and
a
knob.
good button. It's a knob, too.
It's both. The button knob is the best button and the best knob I've ever touched.
She's doing the Mike Minotti face again, audio listeners.
Well, speaking about things rising in bed, we get up, we get down, and I've been getting down with a bunch of Steam Next Fest demos. I highlighted two in particular. One of them, gentlemen, is going to quickly become a sickness for me. Mm-hmm. This game is called Ballionaire.
Okay.
Fantastic title. Yes. Now, at first, upon first inspection, I totally thought this was like a Peggle-like because you just see a gigantic board and a bunch of pegs, but this is more of a Plinko Pachinko style game where each turn after you drop the ball, you get a selection of triggers or tiles where you place the specific pegs on the board, and the pegboard is like a gigantic triangle, and those different pegs or triggers start very normally. Like, okay, once you bonk it, it'll just give you $200. And similar to Balatro, each round you have to hit a certain money threshold to pass the level. Now, the game quickly runs away from you as soon as you get used to the mechanics because it evolves quickly from just placing normal-ass pegs on the board to now some of these pegs have super odd synergies with each other. Like, hey, I'm just going to place a bunch of cheese pegs, some bread, some tomatoes.
This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then you wind up carrying those, and then you start selecting different pegs like a frying pan. So that frying pan will now trigger those different separate ingredients to become a pizza. And now if you're carrying all those different ingredients and you get a pizza, and then you hit a mouth peg, now you deposit all of those items into the mouth. So you can have different strategies in mind. You can have like a full mouth run that you're aiming for, or a whale run because there's a water ball mechanics. There's different ball mechanics in this game, folks. I think this may. I know we're talking a big game about a whole of the year. Dan, I'm so scared about your neck.
He might went out. It's so hard he snapped his own neck.
That's how I died.
He bitched too hard.
Died from gymming, yeah.
And it gets so wild very quickly. And it's so funny because in Balatro, I feel like these stakes are very attainable, right? It's scaled properly. Here, it's like, hey, we need you to get to $5,000. And within the first turn, after your board is completely set up properly, you can blow past that, no problem. And you have the option to remove certain pegs, say they're not working well with like your certain synergy, or you're starting to build. You're going from full mouth run to like, oh, I just want nothing but coin balls. And then it's just a whole different slew of synergies. And also there's movement pegs as well. So say at the bottom of your board, you have a witch broom, and that witch broom will carry your ball directly into a mouth. It's wild stuff. Also, there's different like relic style items after you complete a level that will just affect different passives in the game. So say, for instance, now all of the gravity on water balls is inverted. So instead of falling down, it falls up. It's a wild time.
Everything you're saying makes me very much want to play this game. And
Yeah,
looking at the
same.
images, the art style looks really cool. Have they said anything about when it's coming out? Because like I'm big on I like to wait until games are done. But I want to play this.
I haven't seen any heat on the street yet. I've just seen that this demo is like quickly picking up a lot of steam.
It just
Local
says coming
thunk.
soon on Steam page.
Okay, I want to play this.
It's really
Play
fucked
them?
up.
Fury. Raw Fury's publishing it. That they're a good publisher. Yeah, it's cool. Like there's like some stages here in this video where it's spinning and stuff. So like the
Ferris wheel.
Yeah, the Ferris wheel. So it's going to be down. It's going to be different every time you do it. This looks great. I love these physicsy games, these little pachinko like games. So I'm like, just give me more of that stuff and learn from Balatro. Like this seems like they're doing exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy with the eyes and the diamond cutter thing?
That's a Diamond Dallas page.
Oh wow, DDP's in this. Okay,
Yeah, DDP's in this.
great.
Jan, you want to just stick with the Next Fest stuff?
Yeah,
I got a
yeah.
couple. All right,
What'd you got, Sean?
Yeah, I didn't write them down here, but people might remember the last Next Fest. I played a crap ton of them, and hey, I have 53 demos that I still want to get through here because Next Fest just rules.
Yeah,
Just
Next Fest is very cool.
This is the thing that people have talked about trying to do with the events, but trying to have that like virtual festival of just whatever you want to bring to the table. And with this, it does feel that way because you can just download a crap ton of indies. And I will say that I feel like they've gotten wise with this, where Next Fest the week of is kind of just the promo week, but then they leave the demos up because they used to take the demos down. I feel like most devs are now just leaving the demos up because why would you like ruin that momentum there? So I can still play a lot of these, and the ones I've gone through so far, because Astro Bot has consumed my life. I tried out Wild Rumble. Not a lot to say here. It's a short demo, but Super Mario Strikers, but it's like a 2D hand drawn kind of thing.
Ooh.
But it's just Super Mario Strikers. You just pass, you lob, you pass it back and forth to build speed, and then do a charge shot to try to get into the goal. It is just they're just doing
sounds
that.
more like Sega Soccer Slam to me.
Yeah,
Sounds like a Mitch game.
GameCube. Yeah.
What else did I try? I tried Spy Drops. Dan, I think this might be on your radar. It looks like MGS1, just with an anime girl instead of Solid Snake, but it is
Well,
very
Metal Gear's not
faithful.
anime, so
Never has been.
Yeah.
They're really nailing the atmosphere. It looks like a PS1 game.
Yeah.
Spy what?
Spy
Drops.
Drops. Okay.
That's a very anime. Oh man, that looks super Metal Gear Solid 1.
It
Holy crap,
just
that
looks
rules.
like MGS1, yeah, and it's very faithful with like the texture wobbling and everything like
Soliton
that.
radar.
There's no debuffer
perspective.
here.
No, not at all.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think I wasn't in the right trying to like go through as many of the demos as I could. I wasn't in the right state of mind to like actually play through it.
Astro, yeah.
But yeah, so I need to like sit down and spend some time with it, like I would a Metal Gear Solid game, because it is a little slower paced. You know, there's some talking in the beginning and everything, but it's got the style down. So I'm curious if that leads me to anything. The one, I think this is the one that I really want to talk about. Yeah. Beatblock is the one that really grabbed my attention for the ones that I played so far. And when I say Beatblock, you might think like a puzzle game or something. No, Beatblock as in it's a rhythm game, but you are not hitting the beats. You are preventing the beats from getting to you.
Ah,
So
like Footloose.
exactly like Footloose, Jan.
Do you play as John
Exactly
Lithgow?
like Footloose.
John Lithgow simulator.
You're just ahead of John Lithgow blocking beats.
You play as like this little smiley face, basically. It's like wireframe. Everything's wireframe in this game. But you play as this little smiley face with this little bumper, I guess, that you rotate around with the analog stick. And so the beats are just these little, like, it's almost like a bullet hell shooter, where the beats are flying in at you on the beat
this looks cool.
with rhythm. And so your goal is to move your bumper around 360 degrees with the analog stick and get them to like bounce off of you. And then keep adding layers to this. Like, for example, there are mines where I don't know the logic of this, but you need the mines to hit you.
Yeah, that's what's just seen in
rather
the video.
than using the bumper.
It's like
to
a
block
reverse
them.
super hexagon.
That's like I was thinking
Kind
Super
of.
Hexagon, but also Guitar
Guitar
Man
Man.
with the
Guitar Man, yeah.
with the guitar parts. Yeah,
There's other
Yeah.
things like there's reverse notes. You need to hit them with the back of your paddle, so you need to let them pass through you and hit the back of the paddle. And then there's these lines that come in and close in on you. That's more traditional rhythm game stuff. When they close in on you, you press A to hit them. And so when you're looking at, if you look at this video that they probably have on the Steam page, it looks like visual noise at a certain point. But when you realize you're just rotating the analog stick and pressing A, it's a matter of the puzzle is finding the rhythm of the song and then figuring out how do they want me to sweep the analog stick and press A to the rhythm. And once you get in that zone, it's like we were talking about with Astro Bot, you get in the zone, AutoZone, and then you just everything else fades away. You just know what to do instinctively with your hands, like to the rhythm of the game. It's very, very cool.
Ooh,
and
that's
the
fun.
cherry on top is that the levels are themed. They go really hard with like CRT shaders and all these different like visual like color themes and all the
There's
the
like a
music.
monochrome, yeah.
The music goes wild too, and it's just a very cool game. And yeah, I think this is the one so far that has really stood out to me from Nexus. It looks really cool.
I like the aesthetic too. It reminds me of like some like 3DS download, like a Box
Yes,
Boy.
very
Yeah,
Box
like,
Boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks like a mini game from Rhythm Heaven in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
see that.
It reminds me of there was an early VR game before Beat Saber called Audio Shield.
Oh, yeah.
Where you would hold the shields in your both hands and you would block the beats from getting to you. And
Okay, there you go.
And it was very cool. And but instead of like having a huge library of songs, you could just connect to YouTube and play any song you wanted, and it would just
cool.
algorithmically do that stuff. And eventually they had to get rid of that, I think, and it kind of broke it. And Beat Saber's like, look at us, and like no one remembers Audio Shield now except for Jan.
Yeah, that's me. I remember. Don't worry, Audio Shield. I'm still here for you. The
I
last
used to get
notable...
high as hell and play Audio Shield. It was the best.
Whew, we should just do that now.
Yeah, let's do it now. Yeah.
That reminds me of another dumb idea I had. We should have just Giant Bomb After Dark week, where it's all of our regular programming.
Yeah.
It's just like nighttime.
Yeah, I
like
definitely
that.
that would be fun. I would like
I
that.
would do that. Yeah.
Voicemail drunk truck.
Yep.
There you go.
That's good. That's good.
Last Steam Next Fest demo that I've been checking out is Star Vaders. Sean, I feel like this would be up your alley, bud.
Yeah, I have it downloaded. Tell me about it.
This is Mega Man Battle Network adjacent because we were dealing with tiles. And you'll remember that, God, I think it was a DS or 3DS game, Might and Magic, Clash of something.
Heroes of Might and Magic, Clash of...
Yeah, it was like the
Clash
match
series
3.
was like the I know
Yeah,
what
it was
you're
like the
talking
match 3 where like the enemies are descending down. But here you are, it is a card-based roguelike game. Surprise, surprise. Very popular indie trapping, turns out. But you are moving your little robot around on a grid, and you have a heat action of 3, and you're using cards to move your robot around and shoot and perform actions. You quickly start building out like your heat meter is similar to like a mana meter, where
Right,
you
AP.
have your AP, and you can exceed past it, but the cards that you wind up using will be burned for the rest of your run. So if you wind up burning all of your move cards, you're kind of boned for the rest of your run. And as the enemies get closer down to your side of the grid, they inflict doom on you, and you are allowed up to 5 doom points until you fail the level. If you get hit, it doesn't actually affect you. You don't have health. It is just adds junk cards to your deck. It is one of those card games where like Slay the Spire, where the cards quickly you quickly learn that there's a lot of different synergies and intricacies to them, where, oh crap, this one will move me 2 spaces, but that's bad because that's going to increase my heat, and heat management is a thing. And since you're a robot, they add a fun little mechanic of heat sinks, where it increases your heat gauge temporarily. It's a neat title. I kind of wish it was a little bit more fast paced, but maybe because I don't have more characters unlock. Also, it's a Steam Next Fest demo. It is definitely one of those games, though, that I feel like this would be perfect on a phone, or this would be perfect on a DS.
Yeah.
Give me an SP. I just want an SP.
Yeah, we all do.
Buy the
Yeah.
Amber Nick thing.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but it's not going to play the. Oh, I guess it could play some of these games.
No, because it runs probably a proprietary thing.
Yeah, it runs. Yeah, it runs a specific OS. You can do Onion OS on it and stuff like that.
You talking about like indie trends though? I did remember there's one last one, Jan.
Mm-hmm.
It's I believe it would be pronounced Aokaki, where Aokaki. I honestly don't have a ton to say about it. It's Shovel Knight but bugs, kind of. Everybody's a bug in this game. Like you
So
play
Spoon Heaven.
Spoon Heaven, nailed
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The thing is, it is like a Shovel Knight, where it's an 8-bit inspired action platformer. You got a guy who swings a weapon. In this case, he's like a samurai. He swings a sword. You can pogo off of enemies, Scrooge McDuck style, and it's a really fun game. Really, the thing about this is these are a dime a dozen now in the indie space.
Yeah.
The difference is this one feels good. And I think
it looks like it plays like Ninja Gaiden.
Grub
bit.
especially, maybe Dan, you would also know. The problem with these like retro indie games are like some of them just don't nail the feel. Some of them just don't feel great.
Right.
This one feels really good. It feels like, a Shovel Knight, The Messenger, that kind of stuff where they nailed the movement. And so it feels really good to play. And so it's not necessarily doing anything new and original, but just feels really good to play. And it's been a while since we've had one that isn't either trying to do something radically different, and also, it has good physics, has good controls, it's snappy and everything. It's a very fun time. Short demo that I played ends with like remember the worm guy in Metroid Zero Mission that like comes down from the ceiling and everything?
Yeah.
That's like the final boss in here, and hey, turns out that's still just a good idea for a boss, and it's fun, and I had a good time with the like half hour that I played of this demo.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Speaking about feeling good and swinging things, boys, what feels good? Swinging around, maybe sliding around, jumping around, an Echo Point Nova.
Yeah.
Oh, hoverboarding around. Yeah.
everything
Sky
around.
Islands. Grappling
Yeah.
clouds, brother.
And grappling clouds. Ripping fat clouds and grappling them.
That game's nuts.
It's crazy.
Grub, you we're going into a meeting once, and you were just like playing and streaming your gameplay to the Zoom meeting.
Yep.
You're like, check this out. And I was like,
I'm like,
"Whoa,
it's so good, I can't
Yeah.
stop.
So I like downloaded it during that meeting and then started playing it. And yeah, boy, if we wind up doing best running around as a category, this is like the running around game. Holy shit. How far are you, Grub?
Not much further. I played because like Astros happened, so I didn't play much
Yeah.
more after that meeting. I think I played for like another hour.
Okay, I'm a couple hours in, and yeah, you keep getting different abilities and stuff. It's got fucking agility orbs like Crackdown.
Yes, agility
Yeah.
orbs.
Yes.
How are games not doing agility orbs enough in 2024? It's crazy.
Yeah. And especially a game that has you literally you get a grappling hook. I've upgraded that to it's a double grapple now, so I can do like 2 without a cooldown. You can grapple the clouds. There's very quick respawn if you fall, and you're gonna fall a lot. At any point, like the sprint button, L3 just whips out a hoverboard that lets you like go vertically up walls and shit.
Are you playing on Steam Deck or are you playing on just on
I've been playing on computer.
Okay, with the controller.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just like you'll get into these combat arenas and stuff too. And even that, like all your bullshit carries over to that. So you're grappling, like it'll be on like a little sky island or whatever with some obstacles and like a cave or something. And you can hoverboard around. You can hoverboard dash into dudes and send them flying off the island. If you go fast enough, you build this meter that lets you do a cooldown thing. So you're like hoverboarding through the air, hitting a slowdown, just like pop, 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 like shooting a bunch of dudes in the air. It all feels awesome. I don't know how big this team is or what the budget is. It feels like an indie project that is like remarkably smooth contrling, and it kind of looks good. It's a lot of the same, like, you know, visual aesthetic of like Sky Islands and stuff like that. But like, there's a lot of good reflections, and it's what you want out of this, like just running around fucking stuff up.
And it has co-op, right? It's got like 4-player co-op at least. Yeah,
which we are going to try Thursday.
Thursday,
yes. Yeah, we're gonna try to do some 4-player co-op and surf around the sky shooting dudes.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good time. I can't wait. Like, I kind of want to see what that's going to be like, because there's times where I'm on one island, and then 5 seconds later, I am so far away from where I was. And I'm like, I'm gonna like be leaving you guys all the time. And be like, oh well, I got myself killed again. Sorry, everybody. So I just want to see. Yeah,
the map is crazy. Like the maps is like wireframe. If you zoom all the way out, it's just like 1 billion sky islands is the whole map. And like every time you get a new spawn point, it unlocks a really quick fast travel. So it's clear that it's like not trying to punish you for fucking around, because like you will instantly respawn. You can instantly fast travel everywhere. Yeah, it's very simple. It very much shows you like, oh, you missed a couple agility orbs here. You missed a weapon here or something. You know, all the weapons upgrade as you use them. So, you know, if you're using the SMG a lot, you'll unlock skins and silencers and stuff like that. But yeah,
it feels like an even faster Titanfall 2 in a lot of ways. Right. It's like you are running on walls. You like everything just is all about that speed and momentum.
Ooh,
and
speaking my language.
It's the same devs that made Severed Steel.
And I never played that.
Recall correctly, Severed Steel was very, very important on movement as well.
Okay.
You're just hopping and bopping around. If you look at the Steam trailer for Echo Point Nova, there's one point where they're, I think, doing multiplayer where someone is sliding into an enemy and shooting him, and then someone else, like, it looks like drop kicks him. And
you can do a butt stomp, and you can upgrade the butt stomp to have like a area, like a shockwave type thing.
Always be butt
stomp. Yeah.
AoE butt stomps.
Oh, yeah, let's play this together.
Yep.
I would love to. I would love to.
I'm looking a little after Game Mess morning. We're going to play this.
A little bit after that.
Yeah.
Dan, you mentioned running around, and you have been running around in Sonic Shadow Generations.
I just... Today,
Dan has?
Well, this weekend was very Astro Bot heavy. So this morning I woke up early because Sonic and Batman came out, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to get some shit in so I can talk about it on the podcast. And so I played like the first level of Sonic, or the Shadow, the Bowser's Fury part of Sonic and Shadow Generations. I also played some at Gamescom, so I played a couple levels now. I reviewed Shadow the Hedgehog back in the day. Shocking, I don't know a lot of his lore. So it starts up and there's a cutscene. And
it's all bad.
I was just like, man, Robotnik looks fucked up in this one. What is going on with Robotnik? He looks all weird. And then they called him Gerald. And I was like, who the fuck is Gerald?
Oh, Gerald Ford, Gerald and Betty.
Yes, Gerald Ford's in this. Yeah, it was his last
That's
role.
his grandpa.
Yeah. Look up Gerald Sonic. Like, is this...
Gerald Robotnik. No, I'm serious, Dan. That's his grandfather.
Oh, it's Dr. Robotnik's grandfather?
Yes, he was from the Adventure games.
Was he in the first one? Because I played Sonic Adventure 1.
Specifically.
I didn't play a lot of 2.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
Wait, is Jim Carrey going to play Gerald? Oh, wait, this could just be AI. Never mind.
I mean, they could just put him in, like gray hair makeup.
Okay, but, we'll see.
You know, my takeaway
was... Oh, he is in the new movie. Okay,
it makes sense if Shadow's
in there. Interesting. You know, I've played most of the 3D Sonics, and I think they range from, you know, atrocious like the 06 one to like, I have fond memories of Sonic Adventure 1, despite it not aging that well. But like, you know, there's weird camera stuff. There's just kind of funky stuff. Like, you can see what they're going for, but it's not
more
always
of the time issues than like real problems. But
yeah, whereas like this feels like I think what they wanted 3D Sonic to feel like, even if it's not the most, it's not Mario. It's not all of a sudden this like, you know, perfect, you know, platformer, you know, really precise stuff. It is still a lot like the very first thing you're doing in this game is like grinding on a thing, and you're holding R to boost and just constantly bouncing off of bullshit and homing jumps and stuff like that. But it's readable and it controls fine, which I think for a 3D Sonic is like, that's a plus. So I
think it's the best reviewed 3D Sonic game ever, or in a very long time.
I don't know about reviewed because Adventure did very well review-wise.
Adventure did
but
very
it's the
well,
best one. Yeah, it's. I will say, Generations is my favorite modern Sonic game because it is, like Dan said, it feels good to play. It does. It's not constantly breaking like most of the other Sonic 3D games. The thing is, Sonic has always been in 2D. It's actually always just been a platformer. And I think that's why I like Grub meshed with, say, Mania a little bit more.
I like Mania a lot.
3D Sonic has always had an issue because 3D platforming was hard back in the day. And Sonic, people associate him with speed, and they couldn't quite pull off the speed element either. So Sonic was in that weird middle ground where, a lot of his games were just not good in 3D. It started with what? I'm trying to think which came out first. I believe it's Unleashed came out first. So the daytime portions of that, and then Colors, and then Generations. This is what people think Sonic is supposed to be. And so Sega is actually pretty good about listening to the fans. That's why when you see shit like, the OCs in Forces, we all look at that and we're like, what the hell is all this stuff? But kids actually love that stuff. So they're actually pretty good about listening to fan base. And I think this is one of those examples of they listened to what the fan base wanted of like, let's just make Sonic go fast and like, let's put him on rails because that's what works in 3D. Let's make it a roller coaster. Let's just have it be an amusement park of like, you see cool stuff happen. And so that's why Generations has always been really good, is because it's constrained. It makes sure that Sonic doesn't fly off in a million directions like in Sonic 06, and it just feels really fun. And so that's why I've always loved it, and I'm looking forward to this remake. Dan, did you try out any of the Shadow specific stuff in your time yet? Or
no, that's what I'm saying. I tried. I went into like the Bowser's Fury stuff, like the new.
Oh, you went
Shadow
directly
thing.
into there
Because it's a separate. Like you can just from the menu you can choose Sonic Generations or the Shadow stuff, and I just went to the Shadow stuff. So played a level. I mean, the levels are fairly long. Did a boss fight at the end. I don't know. It looks sharp. It moves fast. I felt like I was in control at all times, which again for a 3D Sonic, it's a plus.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it seems all right. I will play more of this.
Quick question for you, Dan. Does Shadow, does he still have Uzis or a motorcycle?
I was waiting for him to get a gun. He never got a gun in the level I
don't
played.
think he will get a gun.
He's going to get a flashlight. It's like Spielberg's E.T. remake or whatever, where they replace the guns with
Right.
flashlights.
Yeah, the walkie-talkies.
Yeah, walkie-talkies. That's right. Yeah.
Like Walt Disney's always pointing with two fingers, not because he's smoking a cigarette.
I learned
That's
about
his
that.
whole
Bailey
thing.
taught me.
Yeah,
that.
it's high time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boys, there's still more time in this segment, but Grub, I need you to tell me about Killing Time.
Yeah, so Killing Time was an old 3D first-person shooter that, the arcade shooter games like Area 51 that would have sort of the Mortal Kombat rotoscoped characters that were animated that way, just real dudes in actual costumes. This is a first-person shooter with that sort of aesthetic back on 3DO. They have remastered it, and by they I mean Night Dive, who crushes these things.
Oh, they did Turok, right?
They've done yes, all the good ones recently. They did Turok, they did yes.
Oh, this is incredible. I'm looking at images of this now.
Crushed it. It looks so amazing. It's like, oh my God, I wish games looked like this now. So you're going around and it's people from the 1990s in costumes, like with really I don't know if they found the sources or they used like some like the gigapixel upscaler or whatever.
No, they found the sources.
Awesome. So they found the original sources, so they just probably rescanned all that stuff in 4K, 8K, and it looks pristine. And it's a spooky sort of first-person shooter where there's ghosts and clowns and the PO'd that shooter that came out recently, the evil cook that like throws stuff. He's in this game as a common enemy and things like that. So it's just got such a cool, awesome vibe, and it feels great. It looks cool. And I'm going to play it on Ghost and Gremlins tomorrow, so look out for it. Yeah, but I think Night Dive does such cool stuff, and it's at a point where I'm like, man, what is left for them to go back and remaster, and then they keep finding stuff like this. I'm like, that is awesome. I'm so happy that they do this.
It's so cool how this game uses. So first of all, it uses sprites for the enemies like Doom, but the fact that's FMV, it's all FMV. Like you can walk into a room and it'll be sprites, basically a GIF of people talking, and the audio plays because it's originally on the 3DO, CD based format. And so there'll just be these sprites talking to each other and animated and everything. but you can also just walk past them and everything like that. So it's a really cool idea for a shooter, I think. Like this retro shooter
era, I remember so fondly of just like the digitized actors, like Mortal Kombat, Area 51, because I just think, remember as a kid being like, well, that's just real people. We peaked. It's not going to look better than this. You know, it can't. It's real. It can't get more real.
I mean,
than real.
on a CRT, it looked real.
Looked awesome. Yeah.
Yep, and
Lethal
now
Enforcers.
And now I think this game's kind of like matching that level, like how you felt it went back on a CRT, but now on an HD 4K monitor or whatever. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Killing Time is Resurrected.
Resurrected is the one I'm playing. Yes.
Okay, cool. We don't shoot enough ghosts in video games, right?
Yeah. I want to shoot clowns that have and they have a separate digitized hands that like reach out of the screen and stuff like that. There's a lot of like really kooky stuff that I'm a fan of.
I realized a lot of fears as I was watching the trailer for Killing Time Resurrected. I don't like this. Maybe I'm fine with just punching dudes. Maybe I can just throw on a helmet and live out punching dudes, much like Dan Reichert is put on the cowl and is punching dudes in Batman Arkham Shadow.
I played about 30, maybe 40 minutes of it this morning before my headset battery died. And holy shit, I am not a big VR game guy. But this was fun as hell. This is I would say best VR game I've ever played for sure if it weren't for Half-Life Alyx. But I haven't beat Alyx, but I got about halfway through and I could tell like, oh, this is like a peak VR experience. This is up there, if not better. They nail the feeling of like the Arkham game specifically, like that mix between the combat and the Predator sequences and like, dropping off gargoyles and sneaking around vents and stuff. Really smart VR stuff, like to activate your detective vision. You like tap your cowl, like you got to bring your controller up and like do this. And it's like, it feels so cool to walk in a room and just look around and everything. It does stuff that like, a lot of VR games have done this stuff before where it's like, oh, look down and, grab the gun or grab whatever off your hip or your chest or whatever. Everything just feels so much better and considered in this one. Like the Batarang is on your chest. So walk in a room, you see some dudes, you just flip it off there. It's great. There's smoke bombs on your wrist. So you can just like toss smoke bombs, go up to a gargoyle, stuff like that. And then the like combat shit is so satisfying. You got to kind of get used to it because you can't just kind of flail. You have to be deliberate because once you like go to punch someone, you make a punch motion and it like dashes you towards him and you hit him. And you can't just keep going. You have to sometimes it'll be like a dot and that means you can hit him with either hand straight punch. On occasion, it'll be like an arrow and you have to almost like kind of beat saber, like, okay, I got to punch left hand this way. So you got to get used to that, like kind of waiting for the thing. You can't just flail. But every once in a while, you'll like knock a dude down or something. And then like a little 5 will pop up. And that's just a cue. Just like, and like just knocking a dude down and just beating the shit out of him feels incredible.
Cool.
Choking dudes out when you're sneaking around, you're like, ha! You like grab them. And then you got to like, ha! Like wrench it back and forth 3 times. It's fucking awesome. Countering is really cool because that was such a big part of Arkham combat is you would see the thing over their head and you hit Y. Here it's you just move towards them. You don't even have to like press any button or anything. If you just move a hand towards them, it'll do the counter and stop their attack. And sometimes it'll come from the left and right and stuff. Like you won't see a guy, but you'll see like the lightning thing over here, and you'll just like move your arm over, and it like changes the perspective. And you're like fucking a dude up mid punch. Like it feels really cool. Like even like the platforming, getting around with your grappling gun. You're going around, you're climbing ladders. That all feels great. But then like to glide, you just hold the triggers and you go like arms out like Batman, and then you glide down. It's like. It's really good.
I just want a stream of Dan playing this game, not saying anything, just like doing all like the little sound effects.
I was doing that. I was just like, I was having a good time getting into it. I was wondering because I was doing this in my 3 Seasons room, which I think the neighbor can see into. And I'm just doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm like crotch chopping and stuff after I'm like choking a dude out. So like Batman scene, like Batman arms crotch chopping. It's
all right.
Fun as hell.
Is this out? Or
it came out this morning. I downloaded it. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Might have to dust off the good old MetaQuest 3. Maybe we got to do another Verodio. It's been a minute.
I'd be up for it.
We should do that bow and arrow sports game again. Knock.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
Knock was so good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I will absolutely play more of this Arkham Shadow. I, am very, I'd say I'm a little cynical, a little pessimistic about like the state of VR games, but this one was like undeniable. Like, oh shit, they put a lot of thought. Like I heard it's camouflage, and they did Iron Man VR, and I've heard good things about that.
Yeah.
Like, it really nails like Iron Man hovering and stuff. This just nails the Batman stuff.
I mean, the problem with VR is just like, clearly Apple Vision Pro is just taking over the world. I mean, you can't go 5
we
feet
all had to
without
take
running.
ours off to start this podcast.
Exactly.
Right,
I know.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Got in a lot of trouble. But yeah, so I mean, what can it do?
What can it do?
Yeah.
Sean, speaking about
Yeah.
dusting things off, I feel like the world is making me dust off the giant bomb Pokemon gym, and then you motherfucker.
Mhm.
That's right. I'm cussing at you.
Good.
You put on this fucking rundown.
I sure did.
Pokemon TCG Pocket.
That's right.
And I've seen the rumblings, and I've avoided all the rumblings.
Uh-huh.
What are
Like
you doing?
5
to
million
me?
registrations for it or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's out right now over in New Zealand. So of course I've been flying over to New Zealand every
Uh-huh.
single morning in order to play. It's really wreaking havoc on my bank account. But yeah, I've downloaded Pokemon TCG Pocket, the new TCG app that Pokemon has put out, the Pokemon Company and DNA. Shit. So this is an interesting one. I've talked about it before. It is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. It is a faster version of an existing card game.
Oh, WWE Speed. Okay, I got it.
Sure. Yeah.
Marvel Snap for you olds in the room.
Yeah.
It's a faster card game. And so TCG Pocket is an interesting app because it is very much centered around the collection aspect. The first thing you see in this game and like the tutorial is all about kind of collecting cards. And then battling kind of comes later, which to be fair is how a lot of people think about the Pokemon TCG.
Yeah.
They think about these cards you collect and you trade and they have value, and they don't necessarily think about the game, which is just an interesting approach to a card game app to me. Because I feel like in Marvel Snap, the first thing they teach you how to do is how to play Marvel Snap, right?
Yeah, that's a major component of that game versus
Yeah.
like collecting anything.
Yeah, as cool as the collectibles are. So I don't know. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this hits with people. I'm a little worried about the fact that they're focusing on you get 2 packs of data open at like 12-hour intervals. It's on a timer. And that's what everything is centered around in this game. You'll get a notification on your phone, and it's like, hey, you can open a pack. Just tap it, app opens up. It does have this really cool animation where it brings up a virtual pack that's all crinkly and stuff. And you can, like, when you run your finger across it, like, the pack has physics on it. And then you have to, like, swipe your finger across really quickly to, like, rip it open, and then the cards come out. And it's all physical. So it's, it's going to appeal to people like Jan, who is silently hating me. for
Jan
bringing
or
this up.
Scout making these noises?
That's Jan.
That's
Could
Jan?
be either.
Yeah. He's got that dog in him for Pokemon.
I've heard
so
that,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly about the collecting. The cards are cool. They're doing things that you can't do in a physical game, like the immersive cards are called, where you look at a card and they say, hey, tap and hold. So you tap and hold, and the art goes full screen. And it's this whole scene of 2D art that you can't see like within the frame of a card, that the camera like zooms around. And you see all this artwork that they made for this digital card game. It's kind of neat. And then the battling is, like I said, just a simplified version of Pokemon. I'm not going to get into that because not everyone knows how the game works. But yeah, it's just a shorter version of the game. Any given match takes 5 to 10 minutes rather than the more like 15 to 20 that a full-size game might take nowadays. So it's just a more mobile-friendly experience. And I'm kind of curious to see how this will catch on with people.
Sean, sorry to cut you off, but how does it deal with your card library? Do you only deal with like the 2 packs you get in a day to build out your deck, or?
Okay, so this is interesting. This is actually what's making it a little difficult for me to play competitively, because that's the mindset I have, which most people will not think of. Most people will think of just like, building a simple deck and slowly building up over time. The microtransactions in this game are entirely based around reducing that pack timer. It's all based around a timer. It's so that's how they kind of get around probably gambling laws in some places too. Because, another reminder, the original gacha game is trading cards. Just opening a pack of cards, seeing what you get. That's probably how they're getting around that. Where you will buy, you will attain just by playing the game. They give you a ton of these up front. Shocker, to get you hooked. Hourglasses. Hourglasses reduce the timer, and it's like, hey, the timer is reduced. You can open a pack now, and you open the pack. And eventually that's what you'll be able to buy, as well as like bundles of hourglasses that amount to like, you spend a couple bucks and it's like, oh, you can open 3 more packs now, That's how it works.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Jan, you're familiar with wonder trading from the like video games, right?
Yes.
There's
yes,
an
I am.
element of that in here, which is kind of cute, where you can see what your friends and what randos have opened on a list. And if it's a good pack, you can spend the other currency, like Wonder tokens, to open their pack, but you only get one of the cards at random. It's kind of like Wonder trading. Yeah, it's a really weird...
Wait, so they get the rest of the cards?
No. Like, they get the pack. It just shows you what they've opened. And you're like, oh, there's some good cards in this pack that I need for my collection. Yeah. Then it will, like, flip the cards over, shuffle them up, and it's like, okay, pick one.
Oh, yeah, but I guess that's technically not gambling because you know you're gonna get one of the cards.
Yeah, they're very smart about getting around all this.
Man.
DNA is very smart about all this.
Would I have occasionally enjoyed a card game in my life like this? I think maybe might be in the mood for another one. Is this something that I have a chance of getting into?
This is the closest you would get to liking the book.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I think if you download it, you would appreciate the collection aspect and like seeing, oh hey, they like did something interesting with the immersive card here. That's kind of neat. And then you learn how to battle, and it's like, oh yeah, this is just a quick like 5-minute thing I can get done, while I'm on the can or something.
While you're driving.
Plenty of time.
While you're driving, naturally, as Jeff Grubb does.
Yeah. Cool.
Again, because it's so focused on collecting, I'm interested to see how it will catch on with the mainstream audience. It might be a really good play right now. Going for that audience rather than the competitive one, because we still have TCG Live to
you freaks will still be over there.
We can still like train up for tournaments and stuff on the simulator, and then TCG Pockets for everyone else.
I was gonna ask Sean if they're doing anything with like the shoot physical card packs. They normally come with a QR code to redeem a digital pack. They're not doing anything with that. It's just purely Okay. All right. The Pokemon sickness is starting to creep up on me. Saved this for last, just in case Danny Boy needed to use the restroom. But
I do.
Okay, well,
wait, let me just wait and see what you're talking about first. It might be
I
something
think
I
you should go to the bathroom first.
Let me just wait and see.
We're gonna do a quick metaphor progress check.
Okay,
bye, Dan.
Bye, Dan.
All right, he already left actually before any of us could say bye to him.
Yeah. Okay. Sean, how far are you? How are you finding?
Oh no, Jan, this was all a ruse. We're gonna talk about how we get rid of Dan Reichert. Okay. So I'm thinking like we're going over to Minnesota. We could just like
I think the only way to
go is
a cartoon anvil.
No. Bring the game set back.
Oh, slowly. Death by a Million Cuts. I like it, Jan.
All right. Can we just replace him with Kayla?
Kayla's so much cooler than Dan. Can we just, way better.
He pees fast though, so that he's gonna be back soon.
All right, Grubb, have you progressed at all in Metaphor?
I started up the Steam Deck to stream Astro, and my Metaphor was still going. So I played like I played for a little bit, like maybe a half an hour more. So no, not really. But
you didn't get to like any of the battling or anything yet.
None of the battling, but I'm still like not minding what I'm playing so far, which for me is like, I'm expecting to mind this, and I'm not. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. You are right there. You're right there to get like a ton of battling and story stuff that's really sick. Like, you're right there.
Yeah. If no one comes to my Astro times today, which I don't expect anyone's gonna be able to do that, then I may.
You had time to take a poop, Dan. I gotta be real with you.
Well, I just left because I didn't want to get spoiled.
Okay.
Oh sure.
Oh yeah. Very
all right, then I'll speak in coded language here. Dan, I'm past the second major dungeon and everything that happens in that town. Holy shit. Yeah, and then all the fallout from that, which is just...
Does fantasy become reality?
Dan, you like wrestling. Fantasy is your reality. Why are you so hung up on that line?
I know it's a work.
This is a work. It's a video game.
So is fantasy, dude.
Well,
everyone
knows fantasy's a work, too. Yeah, that wasn't a very good point, Dan. Try again.
I don't want to think about this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Y'all motherfuckers spent like 30 minutes on us last week, and I just instantly... Okay, anyways, Dan.
Yes.
Oh, Grubb.
But it sounded like you guys were going to start. Okay, I was just going to say that when I thought about what I said last week, I was like, okay, I can't help the way I feel about the way it looks, but I'm like, but I am.
Oh yeah. What's up? Like it's just a cel-shaded game. Is that what?
I don't think it's. No, I think it's like I'm at a point with anime where it is all start. Like I'm not maybe consuming enough of it to notice
Chris
the
Tucker,
subtle differences.
All y'all anime games look alike. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Right. But I think that there like there's like part of me. It's like, okay, can you do anything to like immediately stand out? If not, then I'll still give you a chance. But it's like I kind of have a hard time seeing the difference between this and like Fire Emblem and stuff like that. But
give it
not,
like an hour and a half. You'll
yes,
see
and
how.
I don't think it's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I just
I
like
don't either, for the record. I don't either.
Yeah.
For the record, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you literally said it's bad last week, Dan.
No, I said it's stupid.
Yeah.
I know it's a very
that's
good game.
different.
I know it's a very good game. I don't know, in my opinion.
Not for
it's
you.
not-
That's cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's
totally
not
cool
for
to
me.
not be for you.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fine.
fine.
Like-
Mama
like
Vitelli and
mayonnaise.
shit Twitch chat says they're gonna fight Dan. So
I've got Vitelli
go
destroyed in Astro Bot, so we're fine.
Sean, I'm at the point where, and I do this unfortunately in a lot of Atlas games, where I know and I can feel I'm at the end, and I don't want to say goodbye to my friends.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
When they hit you with some of those emotional beats, yeah, it's like, oh, I spent a lot of time with these guys. I kind of want to, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
I get it.
So I'm at that point now, and I realize as I'm nearing like 50-ish hours, I haven't had a lot of time to jump back into it to finish it. But man, this type of JRPG just has its hooks into me, and then I'm looking back at the backlog and thinking, I'm not gonna finish Final Fantasy VII. I'm not gonna do it.
No, you're not. You're not gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not
Dan,
gonna do it.
I can't remember. Did you play/beat Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. you knew
Easily
you-
like top 4 of this
I
year.
think you don't need Final Fantasy as well. You got enough RPGs this year. You're good.
Yeah, there's plenty of RPGs.
So you didn't even finish the story of FS7, Jan?
No, because Sean, too much game.
Dude, there's so many games this year. Yeah, I'm not getting back to certain things. I'm probably the opposite. I'm probably not going to finish Infinite Wealth. Like, as much as I was enjoying my time, I don't need another turn-based, story-driven RPG in my life right now.
Because I still want to circle back to maybe try a P3 again.
Oh, you never finished that either?
I never finished that because too many things started coming out.
Yeah. Too
So-
many good games, too many long games. Like, it's just been very good. So, yeah, don't blame you.
Don't worry, folks. I've played plenty of the read a lot games. Plenty of those. Folks, that about does it for the first segment of this podcast. Jeff Grubb is going to hit us with the news right after this quick break. I'm immediately regretting all of the things I say online. I mean, I never do that, right? But like the extra life quiet man stuff, I'm not a fan of it anymore. But I did it to myself.
Jan, during the break, I was saying, Jan, it's going to feel so much longer than you think it is, and you're going to make so much money, and you will not beat that game once if you're restarting it every time you get a donation over 69.
What if there's 3 donations one after another that exceed the 69 total?
Which
Do
could
I just
happen.
Starts in a row.
I think, yeah. I think you have to each time get through the opening cutscene, and then you can restart.
Damn.
So they get their money's worth.
Jeff, grab through the news.
Oh boy. Howdy, everybody. Let's do some news. First story here is from Jake Steinberg's Substack. It's entitled "I Hate Jeff Grubb," and it's a fine read where he questions his sanity and his gaming abilities because of the Astro Bot leaderboard. So go read that over there at jakesteinberg.substack.com. Shouts to Jake. All right, let's get some other news here. Okay, I didn't include the rundown. Let's talk about this thing that's kind of breaking as we've been live. Wario64 as collated by Reset Era has shared a story that Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team, the development team, has reportedly been disbanded by Ubisoft because it did not reach sales expectations. A sequel was proposed, but did not get green lighted. That's real rough to me because I adore that game.
That's one of the best Metroidvanias of all time.
One of the best Metroidvanias of all time. One of the best games to release this year. It is. I think it was a little bit hampered early on by not being on Steam, but I mean, I think there's also maybe people just don't have good taste. I don't know. I'm at a point where it's like maybe people don't appreciate the things that are right there. You can go play a real video game. It's right there. It's called Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and people would say no, I'd rather not. I'm lashing out the wrong people. Obviously, Ubisoft is the right people to lash out at, but more people should have played this game. They really should have. So this is a real bummer. I mean, big companies doing Metroidvanias never necessarily works out great either, though. 2D Metroidvania games. That's I think the last, like the big ones that work, it's like Batman Arkham Asylum because it's a big 3D Batman game and it's like secretly a really great Metroidvania. That's like that's fine. And then Metroid Dread from Nintendo is like, oh, that's going to sell enough to justify itself. It's Metroid. Nintendo's going to keep making those.
Nah.
Outside of stuff like that, it's kind of tough for these big companies to justify a game like this. I think.
Yeah, it's something we don't want to really say, but there is a stigma against 2D games in general.
Yeah.
Like you can see it where that's why these big budget games with ballooning costs and just take way too long to make. The art is insanely detailed. That's what sells, and people see a 2D game, they think old school. They think, oh, well, I shouldn't be paying a lot for this old thing, and that really sucks because those games are still incredible.
I was trying to think of like, I was about to say like, oh, it's the best like Ubisoft game in years. And I'm trying to remember like the last time I enjoyed an Ubisoft game as much as this one. And I literally can't think of one. Like it's one of the best things the company's ever put out. And that sucks so fucking bad.
Yeah. Whenever we talk about Ubisoft's like big hit releases in the last couple of years, I don't know why my brain will always just immediately go back to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And it feels bad. I know that they've had gems that have come out since then. But it feels far and few between. I haven't Just Danced in so long.
Yep, this is just an unequivocal, just good game, really well made. And yeah, I think people are pointing out, it had a high price for a 2D game. You know, I think they were trying to say, no, this game's worthy of that.
If you think it's worthy of that, then that's what you charge for it. I mean, if you're willing to pay $60-ish, somewhere in the ballpark or a full price game for a shorter 3D experience, then your time is your time. Like I don't think we should weigh it based on graphics alone because graphics do not affect gameplay. And I get that a lot of people want their games to feel big budget and feel like these big epic things, but that's not how you're interacting with the game.
Y'all think the name Prince of Persia may have tainted folks at all?
I mean, I think if it was a new IP, I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I don't think it would have helped either.
Yeah, I think maybe in having Prince of Persia, the two Rogue Prince, come not too long after, also didn't help with stuff a little bit because it's like, wait, how about is this? So there's another new Prince of Persia. Should I just get that instead? So yeah, that kind of threw things off a little bit. But yeah, I think I recognize that there is less of a market for this game, and I lament that. I think that is a real shame. Because this game just is better than most games people are buying. Flat out, it just is. Yeah. And so what are people, market decided wrong. They just did. This is a better game than most of the shit you're spending your money on.
It's where the mark is at. Me and my friend were kind of talking about last night, lamenting it a little bit. Because once again, we went back to Smite. And we were just because Call of Duty wouldn't update on my friend's system, and we were gonna hop in, play some Resurgence, and have a fun night. I just wouldn't update, so we were like, just go back to one of the old games we like, and we played that, and we're like, yeah, man, thinking about playing this back in college and how we'd have late nights hanging out, and like maybe having a couple drinks and just having a good time. Thinking back to simpler days in gaming, it's just, I realize how old man this sounds, but like seriously, so many things about modern gaming, and you either have live service games or gigantic AAA games that teams cannot keep up with. It's a bummer a lot of the time. It sucks that we can't keep up. Nobody can keep up with the expectations of people. And I know it's no one's fault in particular. It's just how things have snowballed over the years, but it's just a kind of a crummy situation to be in,
What makes a game like this sell less than Metroid Dread, which was $60 at launch?
Yeah.
There's the Metroid name, I think, has not. I mean, it has had missteps with like Federation Force and Other M and stuff like that, but it's a first party Nintendo franchise. I think there was a little more prestige on that name. Like Prince of Persia has been a great series, but it's also been very uneven in terms of like, oh, we did the School 08 one, then we're going back to Forgotten Sands. Like, I feel like there's been an inconsistency with the Prince of Persia brand that it's probably not as prestigious.
Unfortunately, y'all also think that on top of like the name Prince of Persia being less prestigious, just having the Ubisoft label is not doing any favors lately.
No, I do. I definitely think that's part of it, especially this year, coming out of very high inflation, and people being more sensitive and not necessarily like attaching one sentiment to the other. They are just generally more sensitive about spending money. So They see the $50 price tag that puts them on the defensive. Then they see the Ubisoft name, and that is kind of a red flag for a lot of people for the last several years, or it has been in a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of like commentary. And people are like, I've had bad experience with Ubisoft games, so they begin building a case in their head about, I don't need this game that's $50. You want me to spend $50 for this 2D Ubisoft game? That's Prince of Persia. Where's my 3D Prince of Persia? People just become defensive as a reason not to spend money, and it's hard to blame them because who has extra money just laying around these days?
I get it, because like, you know, I'm fortunate enough to get a lot of games through my job nowadays, and when it comes time where I do need to purchase a $70 game to play, I'm like, I gotta think about that one. Like, yeah, I totally get where people are coming from. I don't blame them at all for that. It's just where the market is at right now.
It's like I do can't help but blame them just because I'm like, well, you spent money on all these other games. I think you'd have been better off here. But you know, that's
like, I disagree with
taste.
the way they think about things. Where you know, something like The Last of Us is worth it when, you know, maybe you spend a similar amount of time. But it's just people prefer that experience. So I guess that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think the DLC came out, the story DLC. I'm gonna play that here pretty soon. When we get to the end of the year, if this is, I'll be surprised if this is not in my top 3 for game of the year.
Oh, damn.
It's currently sitting around 3 for me.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's
I know
right
Mike
on
really
there.
like that as well.
Do we have the exact same top 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
DM him this.
Dan, I'm sure it is. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be super into Dragon Age because it sounded pretty good and stuff like that. But I don't think we'll see if that's able to crack my top 3 or
Check your
anything
DMs. Tell me if we have the exact same.
Let me take a look here.
Like
I know it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Beat for beat.
Sure.
Yep, without a doubt.
I didn't think you guys would
awesome,
put
man.
Metaphor, Silent Hill 2 remake.
Persona
And-
3 Reload is kind of wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's weird that you threw 1,000 resist in there as well.
yeah. Look, I know quality.
Speaking of games that can still be in my top 10, though, Mario and Luigi Brothership developer has been revealed by players with early copies, very early copies. There was some pictures of the Street Date being broken, a bit box with like a couple dozen copies in there. This doesn't come out until next month still. But people are playing it, and they were able to suss out who's making it. Mother and Luigi Brothership's developer has been revealed as Acquire, the studio behind Octopath Traveler, and I think Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, you did just say Mother and Luigi.
Don't think you did.
Mario and Luigi Brothership.
You said Mother. You said Mother.
You said
listen.
Mother and Luigi.
I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah,
Who doesn't have an edible complex? Come on, get on the same page.
Well, I have a huge edible complex. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
I'm audible. It's hard for me to get the O in there.
Chat's confirming you said Mother and Luigi.
Okay, listen. Who does it?
I'm trying to picture what that game would be.
Yeah, Mommy and Luigi is a very important
It's
slash
Rhea
fic that I've been
Ripley and
working on.
Luigi going on an adventure.
Hey, sign me up.
Yeah.
Is it the Oedipus? Like Oedipus, is that how you say Oedipus?
That's you marry your mom and kill your dad.
Right, so Oedipus is an Oedipal.
Oedipus
Like,
and
yeah.
Oedipal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. The P and P gets
pronounce
mixed up.
the P.
Yeah,
Dickensian, Shakespearean, it's all the same after a while, right?
Kojima-esque.
Yeah.
Right,
we say that.
right, yes. We say Kojima-esque when it's something's actually Shakespearean these days because he's just taken over Shakespeare.
He's more relevant.
More relevant.
Yeah. It's like a Minnie Mouse Rosalina thing. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Hey, Acquire, Octopath Traveler dev, that's pretty exciting.
That's wild.
Yeah, people were expecting maybe some like Ilka. I can't remember what they've done, but that's another developer.
Not.
Yeah,
that's
well,
Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and talking about some stuff that has come out of that leak. Oh boy, yeah, that explains a lot about that game. But yes, I would not want Ilka on it.
Previews for Mario and Luigi. Was I supposed to do it again?
Whoa, what's going on, Grub?
Something's up.
I just try to mush the whole name together. Mario and Luigi Mommy and Luigi Brothership. The previews have been pretty good for it. It's looking pretty promising. So I'm hopeful, mostly because I have it on Fantasy Critic and because I love Mario and Luigi and Mommy and Luigi. Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, some game with Concord has to do well this year.
Dude,
yes.
I was going to say Mario and Luigi game with Dominic and Rhea, but they're not together anymore. But that'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see them get back together.
What would you say the last, like, excluding a remake, what would you say the last really good Mario RPG period has been?
Well, Bowser's Inside
Paper
Story
Jam was
is
not
good.
bad.
Oh,
Inside
I've never
Story,
played Paper Jam.
Paper Jam's all right. It's a
played
step
Paper
up from
Jam, no.
Dream Team. I didn't love Dream Team.
Dream Team,
okay.
Dream Team has good stuff. and then it's buried under
It's so
several
bad.
layers of shit and like
Yeah.
talking.
Absolutely. I think Bowser's Inside Story is the peak of that series,
Yeah.
but Paper Jam was pretty good.
A
Inside
lot of people
Story's
are
the
saying
last
that's
one.
the last good one, which is depressing. That was 2009, y'all.
Yeah, no, I know.
Inside
Yeah,
Story was?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
god.
a long time
That's
ago,
like a
for sure.
mid DS game.
There's been
guys.
like there was a couple after Bowser's Inside Story. There was Dream Team
And Paper Jam.
Paper
Was
Jam.
that-
Was
yeah.
Color Splash after that too? You had to
That's
be 'cause it was
Paper Mario.
Wii.
That was after. That was like 2015
Oh, that's
or
right.
so.
Oh yeah, that
yeah.
was Wii U.
Yeah, but that's like a Mario RPG, right? That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I'm talking about
and that
including Paper Marios and
shitty
everything.
Post GameCube Paper Mario series, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, I did like what's
Super
the,
Paper Mario?
What's
on
I
Wii?
actually I did
That
like
one's not
Super
bad.
Paper Mario.
That one's not bad.
But what's
Yeah.
the Switch one? The Switch Paper Mario.
Origami King.
Origami King. It still
Yes.
had the fucking combat.
The
problem.
combat's the worst part. If they didn't, honestly, if they just took the combat out and
Or
they,
just made the combat good or matter or
right,
worth doing.
good or matter, clearly a better thing. But if they just took it out and you just jumped on enemies, that would
Yeah,
be
there was
a
no
great
experience
game.
in that game, right?
No,
that?
why would you ever get in a
No.
fucking fight? Like I
Yeah.
wanted to love
Yeah.
that game.
So weird.
What are you doing?
Everything else about that game is really good, though. Like
Sure.
that bomb that
Yeah.
blows himself up to sacrifice himself for you. It's good stuff. Spoilers.
But that's why, yeah, I'm really looking
Was that a
forward to
metaphor?
Brothership.
no.
Christ.
All
Oh, Grub,
right. so-
I accidentally crossed
please.
out the first story. If you want to circle back to that.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Details on the mystery Nintendo Switch online playtest program have been shared. This is a weird one. It is apparently from EPD4, which is the weird Nintendo development studio that did Game Builder Garage, and I think they did Labo. They
that makes
are
sense.
they are making. Dan, have you seen this?
I have seen the thing that got posted with like the 3 pictures and the description, and
Yes.
I am intrigued.
I am very intrigued. It is okay. So the test begins later this week. It'll run for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. It appears to be an MMO-like game where players work together to develop a massive planet using creativity and resources. There's screenshots that make it look kind of like Minecraft sometimes. Like there's a big planetary grid, and you can spread across this grid working with others, I think. And then there's another section where it's called the dev core, where you're running around, and frankly it looks like a 64 DD game. It looks like Tales of the Sun a little bit.
Yeah, I thought of Tale of the Sun. Yes.
Yeah, it looks weird and cool and just strange as hell, and I think I might be into what they're going for here.
This might be the first time I'm give a real shot to an MMO.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like I'm intrigued.
God,
Right,
of course
and it's
it'd be
like-
Nintendo that'd make you
Yeah,
all do it.
yeah.
and it's like, is it going to be like an MMO like World of Warcraft? Definitely not. It's going to be some weird experiment. It does sound a little bit like Peter Molyneux, but it's like, what if Peter
like that
Molyneux
too.
worked at Nintendo? That he might actually get some stuff out that's good. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting here. You get these things called beacons that you place on the planet, and the higher you place them vertically, I guess, the bigger of an effect they have over how much of the land it infects.
Why am I
it's
thinking
weird.
of Death Stranding and Nobi Boy right now?
Yes,
It's just
the
like making me
Nobi
think of
Boy
weird
definitely appeared to me
stuff.
as well.
Hell
Wild,
yeah.
man.
Yep. It just sounds like the kind of stuff that's like when developers got the new technology of the internet and hard drives early on. They're like, we're going to make stuff like this where there's going to be persistence and online. You're going to have these communities. And it's like, okay, that's not really how it played out. And now it feels like Nintendo's like just learning about the internet and is finally making one of those games.
Anyways, they are.
I
Yes.
can't wait for Dan to chime into like our Discord or Slack, asking us if we've done our dailies and if we're crafting
Yeah.
in the MMO and
Hell
everything.
yeah.
It's
Get
like,
in
let's
there.
get ready for the
Gonna be
raid
big
group.
mercs. Yeah.
Yeah, help the giant bomb crew. Yes. There's a little bit more data mining out there. Like that they found like a code name and stuff like that. I don't have it listed here. It kind of doesn't matter because Nintendo's going to tell us one way or the other like what's going to happen with us after this test probably. But it is at the very least they seem like they have a real game here. And depending on the results of the test, I don't know. Maybe this thing comes out with Switch 2. Maybe it comes out early next year. Who knows? They haven't said much beyond that. We are also, while we're hearing all this stuff, it is Nintendo's still asking people not to share it. So we'll see if people are able to stream it. I did get into it, so I'll be able to get my code here pretty soon.
Maybe we
And-
don't play with fire.
Yeah, yes, we're probably like we're not going to be the ones going out there and be like,
No,
oh, we're going to stream this stuff.
Here's
Yeah.
what we do. We just do an unsanctioned stream, a lights out stream.
Lights out
and
stream, yeah.
we can't get in trouble.
That's right. You just show my face.
Letter of the law, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Just Jeff Rubb's reactions to this thing for an hour and a half.
What the hell is going on here? Yeah, that'll be fun. Inscrutable facial expressions. All right, let's got a couple more Nintendo stories here. Super Smash Brothers creator has started production on his next game in 2022, or did start it in 2022. Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Super Smash Brothers and Kirby, started working on a new game project in 2022. He announced the project in the final episode of his YouTube series, Creating Games. Sakurai received a request to write a game proposal in July 2021, which he completed quickly. In October 2021, he was given the green light to move forward with the production, but it took time to assemble the right team. During the gap in his schedule, Sakurai created his YouTube channel to share his knowledge and experience in game development. He planned his entire run of the YouTube channel in advance, scripting all 260 episodes, including today's finale. Sakurai worked on both his game development project and his YouTube channel simultaneously, starting at 8 a.m. each day and finishing around 2 a.m. So a little bit of an insight into Sakurai being just a complete machine or a vampire. Like, that's still on the table, I think. And then, hey, yeah, he's got a new game in the works, something that was, I think we maybe had some questions about, like, hey, is he going to, like, get right back to work on something? Turns out that's exactly what he did.
I mean, that's what we did with Giant Bomb. I know the guys in '08 put together a script for everything up to today and years in the future. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
This is all followed the script. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. We got the production meeting to make sure the notes are good. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is Sean. What do you want from Masahiro Sakurai?
I don't know. I was thinking about this. I don't actually like many of Sakurai's games outside of Smash because it's been mostly Kirby, and I'm just not really into Kirby. But the 3D one. I wouldn't say that, Dan. The 3D one from not too long ago, Forgotten Land. I like that, but he also wasn't involved with that. You know, he hasn't been involved in Kirby in a long time.
Did you play the Kid Icarus Uprising?
That's what I was going to bring up. I did really like Kid Icarus Uprising, and I think there's a charm to his directorial approach that really shines through in the games. And so I'm interested to see what his next game would be. And that's speaking about like him being very open about with the YouTube channel and like sharing his knowledge to the world. That's been such a cool saga for him to go on, just because this is information that you just would not get otherwise. Like maybe you get in a book when he's like retired and everything. The fact that he's making it very accessible to people, like sharing his process, has been so cool to watch. I know he's friends with like some of the Bandai Namco guys because, you know,
they work closely together. Yeah.
When I had the chance to talk to Harada at Evo, like we addressed that briefly, where, you know, I asked him like why he likes sharing stuff on Twitter so much and everything like that, and he said he didn't say it was like an inspiration, but he's like, I like doing the kind of thing that like Sakurai does. I like putting this information out there, so that's why it's really cool for us as developers to see him sort of putting this stuff out there into the world. Like it's a great resource for people and everything like that. So I think this whole arc of him is very interesting. So I'm just more curious than ever now we've seen an insight into how he develops to see what his next game looks like.
And this, you know, at any moment, this could be his last game. Like there's a chance he could retire after this.
He should retire. Like the man has done so much.
Worked like a madman on Smash. Is there a chance this is a new Smash Brothers?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he just lets that team, whoever has inherited that, make the ultimate version of.
They already did that, Jeff.
I know, but yes, they'll do it again on Switch too. I promise.
The next Smash has to be a reboot because they just can't go bigger than Ultimate.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have
bars.
to be. It
doesn't have to be, but it's also Sakurai has talked about how their Ultimate is a licensing nightmare. And just so much work would have to be done to like reach back out to everybody all over again. Like they thought they wouldn't get characters like Cloud in Ultimate. They thought that would not happen, but they wanted it to be Ultimate. They wanted it to be everyone is here. And so they went out of their way to get everyone in there. And
well, they don't have the return addresses for all those envelopes they sent out.
No,
I guess not.
Randomized and scrambled. But I think all that work is why they stick with Ultimate and make Super Ultimate.
You could like port it, sure, but I'm saying like the next new Smash game. You can't just have like if a new Smash game comes out, you can't just keep re-releasing the same Smash game for every single new console for the next 50 years or whatever. Eventually,
it worked for Mario Kart. It worked for Mario Kart 8 to a certain extent, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Big,
I mean,
big
That
name.
happened once. That's your example. That's
okay, you're right.
happened
You're right.
once.
I just think that Nintendo is like, boy, that was a lot of money and not a lot of work, and we like that. I think there's a chance that that's
Me
what they
too.
do. I
Yeah,
think when-
again, they
if you're
could keep
talking about the
porting it,
next
but I
real
don't. Additional
one, yes.
work will not be done on that to make it a new game. Is what I'm saying.
No, I agree with that. I think it'll be very minimal work. It'll just be like they might position in a way that makes it feel new, where it's like, all the DLCs included, so they could call it a new name.
Right. It's like Ultimate Definitive Edition. They'll find a way to like market
Something
it, but
like
it
that
will
will
be
happen next. Yes.
the exact same game that works within the confines of licensing and saying this is a new game. No. Licensors, we don't need to pay you again. Like, yeah, this is just a re-release.
Yeah, and and if Nintendo needs, you would hope all that work they would like have built some of these contingencies in place to know that would be coming. But you're right. The next
You'd think
new-
so, but you'd think they would have done that for 4 as well, and they did.
Yes,
so,
they didn't. Yeah. Next new real Smash Brothers though, that'll come in here. I agree with you. That will be a reboot, and I don't think Sakurai will be involved with that either. So yeah. All right.
Rest, dude.
Yeah.
Rest. Jesus.
Go do something else. All right. And then the last Nintendo story I have here. Nintendo
This is
fans
so
are
dumb.
down. Yes, they're down bad and are now drawing pictures of the Switch 2. There is a napkin sketch of the Switch 2 and a dock. And really, the Switch 2 itself, the tablet, looks indistinguishable. Maybe some of the buttons are in different places. I didn't really look that closely, but it looks like a Switch tablet. And then the dock it has a slant.
Go outside.
It has a slant, you see. So instead of being just the pillar, this thing that just stands up straight, it goes back like a pyramid, like half of a pyramid. And so that's exciting. Well, so it doesn't fall over.
Because the Switch dock knocks over if you just
back
the dock
car
itself.
struck-
The dock itself. Okay, wait. The dock, not the kickstand.
The kickstand's also okay. That was different on the kickstand's kind of got like a cutout shape to it instead of the solid one that's on the OLED. But whatever.
If you're not seeing the images, just like think of the dock as if it was shaped like it has a kickstand. It's just like kind of triangular, so it stands up a little bit easier and don't get knocked over.
What is this based off of, other than just someone drawing what they want?
Look
Okay,
at that slant.
it's based on that. It's based on
it. That's
Nintendo
it,
fans
Jan.
going, look at that slant.
I like it.
I do too. So really what the reason that this was worthy of talking about at all is Nate the Hate, who's a good, he knows his stuff, said he saw a similar design in September, and now this came from a separate place. So, and this is probably somewhat accurate to a certain extent. We're going to start getting this stuff pretty soon.
Question.
Here's what
do
I'm
you
going to
think-
say.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Dan, you first, please.
Do you think the dock is backwards compatible, or are we gonna have 2 fucking docks underneath
Two
the
fucking
TVs?
docks.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
It's
No, it's going to be 2
USB-C.
fucking docks.
No,
Because
it's a
when
new
you buy a
dock.
new one of these, you'll get a new dock. I wouldn't be surprised if it is backwards compatible. Yeah, because it's just
Okay.
USB-C.
I would hope it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think like unless there's something happening in the new dock, which I doubt, it should be backward compatible.
Okay.
I think this is all a misdirect, folks. I don't think this is a Switch 2. I think Nintendo is going to continue making weird appliances of
yeah. Give me a toaster.
No, I think it's going to be a boombox or a little radio.
Okay.
Up for that.
Like, hey, like I don't know,
Alarm
maybe
clocks, boom boxes, all kinds of 80s
As in,
electronics.
That's
Yeah.
what this is, and we're being misdirected, or that's what the Switch 2
exactly.
is?
I see like the little handle kickstand they got going on there. You know what that could be? That could be a handle for a radio that you lift up.
Give me a Nintendo bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Give me a Nintendo yo-yo.
Yeah.
Man, that yo-yo would be fucked up.
Make my bed a Nintendo.
I would buy a Nintendo bed.
Yeah.
We would also advertise it on the podcast because that's what you do with beds.
Yeah, and then we
advertise
get
it.
free. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it free.
Yeah.
Hey, Nintendo 8 years ago this week announced the Switch, the original Nintendo Switch 8 years ago this week. They still have not announced the Switch 2 for real.
What you said? Real?
Shoot for shoot.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know,
I've never
like a
passed that.
fishing reel. Yeah, I was confused myself. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Nintendo fishing reel. That'd be cool.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah, for all your Soul Calibur needs. Right.
So 8 years ago they did that. Now they have still not talked about the Switch 2. Are they going to announce this thing this year, or is it going to happen next year?
Yeah,
sometime?
we'll get a teaser. We'll get a teaser video that's roughly 2 minutes long that doesn't show us a lot. It'll have a sizzle reel, which is like flashes of games, and there will be a more substantial one next year.
Okay, and that is what
Wasn't
happened with Switch.
the original Switch's reveal, wasn't that in late October, early November?
Yes, and it was people on a roof. It was people
8 years
like
ago this week. 8 years ago this
disconnecting the
week.
things, and it was like,
that's what you're saying, guy.
Yes.
You saw like 2 seconds of Mario Odyssey, and like, look at that. But then it was like later you saw the whole big reveal.
Right.
Yep.
What celebrities do we think we're going to see in early marketing material?
John Cena.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, that's it.
Those two.
Say John Cena's a good call.
He was in the Cube.
Yeah, he was in the Cube.
He loves Metroid.
He
Yeah,
does.
and he was in the Cube.
He had a whole design doc.
Cube?
Yeah, they put him. The Nintendo put him
The
in a cube in the
Nintendo Cube.
desert.
The red in the desert.
The
That's where-
isolation chamber. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And then and Stone Cold will be in there. He'll be talking about his favorite Zeldas, I think.
And CTE.
Yep.
Oh yeah, well you can't make up that he loves Zelda.
No, you can't make
That's
that
my
up.
favorite part of the Stone Cold Zelda thing is you can't make it up. It's impossible.
Of course.
All right.
No one's working anyone in wrestling. What are you talking about?
No, you
So
can't make it up.
Not
Is
In the
fantasy.
industry, sure, not
All
wrestling.
reality.
That's sacred. Yeah.
Is he a CTE guy then?
Oh,
is
is
he-
he working
okay.
us?
Maybe it's a
He's
work.
working us. I see.
You can not make that up. Nintendo fans. Oh wait, that's the Naughty Dog's next game. They both start with N. Naughty Dog's next game will reportedly offer a lot of player freedom. Naughty Dog's upcoming game will reportedly emphasize player freedom, according to MinMax founder Bon Henson. The game has been likened to
European
one
outlet or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Has been likened to one with extensive player freedom, although it's not Hitman. I didn't listen to this. What I'm imagining happened is Ben said it's a game. It's been likened to a game with a lot of player freedom. I'm not going to say what it is. And then Leo Vader was immediately like, "Is it Hitman?" And he had to be like, "No, it wasn't Hitman."
Sure.
That's
How
probably
did,
what
wait,
happened.
where
here.
did this come from? Why are we talking about Ben knowing about Naughty Dog's next game? He just like brought it up on a podcast?
Yeah, on a podcast, he said he talked to someone who should know, and
gotcha.
and they said it's going to be a game with a lot of player freedom. And I think the game, despite everyone will rip their hair out from hearing this, it's going to be Breath of the Wild. They played Breath of the Wild, 7 years ago or whatever, 8 years ago, and they're like, hey, yeah, this is really good. We should make games like this. And now here we are, and that's the game they're working on now.
What if it's
Grappling hook
like a
goes
Worms
everywhere,
like
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that would be sick.
Naughty Dog's Worms with like a Last of Us budget?
That's that's the most free player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a sad
Nah.
worm game.
Those worms looking nasty.
I see some people in the chat being like, "Oh yeah, just trust me. Oh, my uncle works at Naughty Dog." I've known Ben Hansen a long time. He would not say something.
would not just
He's
be-
not
he would
someone
not
who's
be off the
known to
cuff
like say
that.
something on the
Yeah.
air if he was not confident about
No
it.
way,
So,
yeah. I've heard early response to this from people who like Naughty Dog games, being like, please just make narrative games. That's all we want.
They're good
just
at that.
Yes, they are good at right. They're good at it. So they're taking a risk. But I like the sound of this. I think this sounds good. The people that made that awesome rope physics from Last of Us Part 2, making a game where you can kind of do whatever you want with that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Yeah.
I think I remember the rope physics more than almost anything in Last of Us.
it was
2.
the best thing in the game.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was.
Yes,
Well, there were
by
a lot
far.
of good things in that game.
No, there
Yeah, but
wasn't,
yeah.
Jan. Name one.
I liked Lev. Lev was a good character.
I
Who is
liked a lot of
Lev?
that stuff.
I don't remember Lev. I
All
remember
right.
liking that game, but it's very long and has a lot of flashbacks.
I like
It's
the
murder
NASA
porn.
scene. Yeah, well,
Yeah, sometimes you like that.
yeah, sometimes that's necessary. But the rope physics is still the best of it. Well,
Yes.
maybe there's good stuff in there. Rope physics is the best.
I'm messing around, but I'm just so tired of every Naughty Dog game being the exact same formula for the past like
What
I
if-
think they are too. Yeah, that's what that's what.
That's why
I
I'm
did some
excited
pretty
about
cool
this,
stuff.
Oh,
What
sure,
if
I
the
like- I like
freedom
for.
they're allowing is you can tuck in Nathan Drake's shirt now? It's not a
Okay.
half tuck anymore.
Wow, that you need authorial
I think
vision
the
there.
cops would come to your house if you tried
Yeah.
to do that.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
can't
mean
do
to
that.
offend anyone. Sorry.
Okay, so I mean, there could be player freedom that is something like Hitman, where it's like, here's a story, here's levels, you can kind of here's a goal, you can do that goal in any way that you want. Now, they apparently not liking to Hitman, but there are like tiers of openness. Like, do you guys think it will be like kind of like Breath of the Wild, where here is a world, here is a guy you got to go beat. Now go figure out how you're going to do that throughout this entire
I
thing.
don't want that in a Last of Us Naughty Dog world.
I do.
I think I
Well,
do.
just because it feels so dour the whole time.
As opposed to The Last of Us Part 2, Jan.
Yeah, but here it's like, oh my
Or the
God.
lesson is, hey, revenge is wrong. So what are we gonna do in this game? Revenge.
Well, I don't. This is not necessarily going to be another Dower game. This could be.
No,
it
they
could
make
be.
Jack and Crash.
It could be
Bandicoot
Jack and Daxter.
Okay, if
Rings
it's
of
Jack and
Power?
Daxter, I'm back in.
Yeah.
Rings of Power?
Yeah, they made a Rings of Power.
Micronaughties?
No, it's a fucking. Do I have the name right? Look, the only reason I know this
You
game.
talking about the fighting game?
No, it's a Sega Genesis game. The only reason I know this is because there was a code, because I wanted to buy this game for this reason, because I was always trying to find sneaky ways to see boobs that my mom wouldn't be able to find. That's why I took the pictures of the Hustler with the Game Boy camera. There was a code and an EGM saying when the Naughty Dog logo shows up, type in this code, and a booby lady with full boobs on the Genesis is going to show up on the screen. I was like, there's no way if I get this game, my mom's going to know the boob code. I'd be able to see boobs anytime I want to. And so I wanted to buy this Rings of Power game because it was easy code-based access to boobs.
Yeah, no, that all.
Look
tracks.
it up.
Yeah, it all makes sense. Rings of Power.
I think Rings of Power Genesis.
I think
I've
it is
never
called
played
that,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rings of Power.
Yeah,
All
there,
right,
it is.
there it is.
Developed by Naughty Dog. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you remember the boob code?
Code, I'm going to see real quick. Okay, yeah, here it is. The code in question is, okay, on controller 2, when you turn on the Genesis, you press A plus B plus C plus down right plus start on controller 2 as you turn on the Genesis. The Naughty Dog will come up, followed by the topless woman. And then there's a GIF, and yeah, okay.
Those are
Times
still
were tough
boobs,
in the
huh?
90s, huh?
It's boobs. I mean, it's
Ooga.
pretty well rendered boobs for Sega Genesis, if you ask me.
Well,
Why
listen.
couldn't I just do that for Extra Life instead of Quiet Man?
Boob code and Rings of Power for 12 hours? No, Jan, that would be stupid. You can't do that.
Right.
We're taking this seriously. It's for the children.
Yes.
Oh, right, sure. They shouldn't see that yet.
I'm interested in any sort of increased player freedom. I think that's where I'm at with a lot of these narrative-driven campaign games, where it's like we are going to build a story for you. You go through it and do what we want you to do. And I bristle at that every time now. I have a hard time with that these days. So for me, this sounds like music to my ears. I think that maybe it could also be a poor business decision. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because clearly that's what the fans want, is they like where all this stuff has been going. I know plenty of people who absolutely love Last of Us Part 2 and just everything Naughty Dog's doing. And it seems to be selling well. So, yeah, it's definitely a risk. I am kind of curious, Jeff, did you have an example of, like, where you would like them to go? Like, is Spider-Man more along the lines of what you were thinking? Or that's pretty narrative-driven, too, at least in
yeah. It would have to be... when I think of player freedom, I think of Elden Ring, and I think of Breath of the Wild, those kinds of
very
things.
open, yeah.
Yes. Just like, hey, here's some stuff, figure it out. And I really enjoyed that. I feel empowered by that, where it's like, oh, they trust me, and then I go. That's where, like, when I go play something like Red Dead Redemption 2, I try to have that same experience, and the game's like, oh, no, game over. What are you talking about? You can't do that. Right. I kind of want them. Yeah, I want them to at least lean towards open. It sounds like they might be going full bore into that. And there was conversations after Last of Us Part 2 came out in the years following that, where some of the head people at Naughty Dog were talking about, we played some recent games and we're like pretty impressed by this thing. And I think they were, at that point, I think they were talking about Elden Ring maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't know. Jan, you still seem skeptical, and I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's less so Naughty Dog, but more so PlayStation as a whole, maybe perhaps learning the wrong lessons from other AAA titles. And instead of adapting or incorporating stuff that people really enjoyed from Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom, etc., they'd just be, I don't know, they would lean all the way and get into Red Dead Redemption 2, which at least I know for sure 3 of the people, I don't know, I forget where you stand on it, Sean.
It's not a video game.
There we go. There we go.
I want a 5-minute animation for opening a drawer, Jan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm right there with you, brother.
Okay.
Hey, was Rings of Power the only game that had a nude code for shoot?
That can't be true.
I mean, try to think. I mean, the Tomb Raider thing
I'm like legit. Like I need to go actually see this for myself to see if like you like not like pasties. Like, do you see the nipples?
Nipple, straight up nipple. Look it up.
That's crazy to me because
Chat, post it in the chat. Post that boob. Post that boob.
It's not going to become an emo.
Boob.
It's not going to be an emo.
Yeah.
I feel like we just leapfrogged the time period of actually needing a code for it, where we just got to, hey, adult games can just exist now.
Okay, there was
Chuckowski's got it. Chuckowski's got it. There
There
it
was
is.
the
Oh,
nipple
Brink's got it.
DLC for. There's nipple DLC for the Saboteur, where you had to pay $10 to get the nipples if you bought it used.
Is it nude?
Good Lord.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not leaning in to see them better. It's just the lady's eyes
Oh wow.
are throwing me off.
Look at that.
Those
You can see why I would see that in like a tips and tricks and be like, I got to get this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a boob.
Like
Straight
her,
up.
No, but her eyes are a little too woo, you know? You know what I'm saying?
I didn't look
It
at her.
says an
eyes.
anime.
Yay.
This is not anime.
Chat, I'm not turning that into an emote. Shut the hell up.
Don't worry, I'm on it, everybody.
This is why we don't give friends of this site power to make emotes. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Imagine if they brought that back, like Last of Us Part 2. There's a boob code for the logo.
That's
It's Joel.
freedom.
Is Joel, you know?
Oh,
just-
gladly.
Yeah.
If it's
They
Pedro
do the
Pascal.
HBO show, if you type something on your remote.
Yeah, Jack has a real nice pair, if you know what I mean. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. FBC Firebreak is Remedy's three-player control multiplayer game. Microsoft had their showcase last week. We talked over it. There were some interesting games there. We'll hit a couple of them. FBC Firebreak is Remedy's three-player control multiplayer game. It is looking Left 4 Dead-like. It is scheduled for release in 2025, coming to Xbox Series X and S and PC. It'll be available on Game Pass on day one. The game is not intended to be a lesser version of Control, but rather a fully formed standalone experience. They've been working on it for a while. It did look like it's going to have all of the trappings and the sort of vibe of Control, but in a multiplayer cooperative campaign experience, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how the gameplay is going to work, but it looked interesting.
I'm with it. I enjoy three-person cooperative games.
That seems like something we should definitely stream.
100%.
Definitely. Interested in that.
And Lake House is out today. I really,
right.
really want to check it out.
Yep. Yes, that is available now. Then Subnautica 2 has been announced. It's also coming to Game Pass. It is a full sequel to Subnautica. There you go.
Nautica's great.
Yeah, I've never played Subnautica. Maybe I'll start with this one. Yep.
Is it multiplayer, the first one?
I don't know, but I think this one might be cooperative. I think. Trying to feel like I remembered hearing that, but either way, this one also coming out next year, so 2025, and again, Game Pass day one. There was some other stuff in that showcase, but yeah, you can go watch the talk over if you want to see it. Vampire Survivors is getting Castlevania DLC later this month. It's finally happening. Vampire Survivors Ode to Castlevania DLC pack is coming October 31st for PC, Switch, Xbox, PS5, PS4, and mobile for $4, which is about as much as the game itself cost. And the reasons that it's that expensive is quote unquote, is
Mother.
that it's mother. The reason it's so
Licensing.
mother is but Castlevania or Contra wasn't that expensive. The reason they're charging more for this one is there's a ton of stuff in here. They're saying this is the biggest DLC pack they've ever done. 20 new characters, including Belmonts and Belnades, 40 new weapons, and 30 new music tracks, including some really good remixes of stuff like Vampire Killer. So
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of it. Yeah, it's
Yep.
good stuff right there.
it'll have new enemies, including Mudmen, Ghosts, and Fleamen.
All the stars.
All the stars here. I love that. Well, I don't love Fleaman. He's really annoying.
He
but
sucks so bad.
Yeah, he's always hopping at you. But I still pop when I see him a
What
little
about
bit.
mermans?
Merman. I love mermans. They're
Yeah,
like
they're good.
shooting out of the water. Yeah.
Give me some of those clock tower heads.
Yeah.
The Medusa heads.
Medusa. It's the fly guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Give me Shy Guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
just throw-
Mario DLC.
Mario Vampire Survivors. That they well, no, I was about to say they did Mario Dynasty Warriors, but they didn't do that. That was a rumor I heard once that never actually
I
happened.
would love that. Holy
How awesome
shit,
would that
that'd
be? Yes.
Great.
I
Yes.
still remember that time where Mike really wanted to know that piece of information before
Mm-hmm.
he shared it, and so you like DM'd him live on a podcast, and he just like cracked up. He just
Yeah.
lost his shit laughing.
Man, that would rule if that still happened. But yeah, anyway, Vampire Survivors, Castlevania DLC, and Ode to Castlevania coming out Halloween Day, October 31st.
Hell yeah. They know what they're doing with that game.
Cool.
Definitely. And I'm glad that they were able to be like, yeah, this was very Castlevania inspired. Let's just work together. That's such a good way to deal with this. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Netflix has shut down its AAA Team Blue studio. Netflix has shut down the studio in Southern California. It was established in 2022 and had acquired veteran developers like Chaco Sonny, Joseph Staten, and Raf Grassetti. Joseph Staten most recently was at 343 working on Halo. The company has offered mobile games through its app and produced original video content on games, but has yet to find a major hit game. The closest success was Point B, a mobile game published by Devolver Digital, which received critical acclaim. They were supposed to go on and make massive games, but like, Google and Amazon before it, they were like, oh, wow, this is way harder than we thought it would be. We would just hire a bunch of people and it would take care of itself. And we never looked over at like a company like Ubisoft that has as many employees as we basically have just to make 7 games every once in a while. So yeah, they are backing out of this basically. Not that they're backing out of games, but making their own first-party Netflix games. That seems like they're going to de-emphasize that. And I'm not too surprised. That's just the way it goes with these tech companies, right?
Yeah, I remember seeing Netflix making a gigantic push to get into games, and then this just seems to be where the cards are falling for them.
Bloober Team claims it's finished making shitty games.
Finally.
And I'm done making shitty podcasts.
Yeah,
well, I got bad news for you, Jan.
No, I'm still on them, so sorry about that. Bloober Team has acknowledged its mixed reputation from past projects and declared that it is done making, quote, shitty games. It spoke to GameSpot about this, basically saying, we learned a lot from making Silent Hill 2. We heard a lot of the criticisms for our games before that. We are making this new game, Chronos. It's coming out soon. Chronos The New Dawn. And we promise it's going to be more on the side of Silent Hill 2 than our other stuff. Because we've improved and gotten better. And I think that there's a lot of people in the horror fandom that would welcome that, because they do make a lot of games and people want to like these games, I think. They're at least, they're coming around to be like, especially after Silent Hill 2, I think they're like, hey, but what if you just made more good games? And I think they'd be open to that. And I'm kind of willing to give them a chance and say, hey, maybe they can actually pull that off. Clearly, it could be Silent Hill 2 was just provided the structure that they needed to make something decent. But maybe they also did learn, and that's what they're saying here. So
I'm hoping they learned.
Me too. Yeah. Finally, IO Interactive hopes its young James Bond will star in a big 007 trilogy. IO Interactive aims to make their upcoming James Bond game the first of a trilogy. The game will feature an original story and a new Bond created specifically for the gamers. IO sees the lack of recent Bond games as an advantage since it prevented overexposure. They hope to create a lasting impact with their game, defining James Bond in gaming for years to come. It sounds like the right way to take it, right? And don't try to hop onto Aaron Taylor Johnson, whoever's going to be the new James Bond. Just go make your own thing for the gamers. And how do you feel about the hey, we're going to make a trilogy though? Because that was something you used to hear back in the day a lot. Like, hey, this new game series is going to be a trilogy. These days, that seems
too human.
Yeah, too human, right? The 360 era, it was rife with that stuff.
Yeah.
I trust IOI to make a trilogy, though.
If anyone was gonna say that this is one of the developers, I'm like, yeah, I could see them doing it, even if they have to spin something that wasn't successful in the first game. I could see them turning around in the second game, because Hitman trilogy, the recent one, has been very good.
Yeah, really worked.
So,
yep,
they commit. I could see them doing it.
Maybe don't say it before the game's even out.
Yeah, I think the idea is, hey, we have a long-term investment in this. We want people to buy into this new James Bond and stick with them for a long time. But I don't know. If the game is good, that'll sort of take care of itself. I imagine we probably see that relatively soon. I'm getting more and more curious about this thing.
Yeah, maybe Game Award time?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe even that soon. That would be awesome. Not necessarily, but maybe.
IOI here.
Sorry,
no, please, you.
I just want to point out something I saw in the chat here real quick, in case a quick aside. We were talking about Echo Point Nova earlier. The chat, Arwol says, playing Echo Point Nova while listening, tried to grapple onto an enemy, but they fired a rocket at me, and I accidentally grappled the rocket while it was moving through the air. That's the type of game we're talking about, and that we're
freedom. Put that as a video game right there.
Yeah.
Rope physics on that shit. Yeah, let's go.
I was gonna say IOI. Here, come close. We're friends. Dan and I visited your studio. It was lovely. We had hot dogs while we were in Copenhagen.
Oh, yeah.
But here's an idea. Get ready to cut the check. Yeah, we could do a James Bond game. Sure. That's an IP that's easy to adapt with a Hitman engine. What about we make a Three Stooges game?
I would play this shit. A co-op Three Stooges?
With Hitman mechanics?
That sounds incredible, actually. Oh, my God.
I was not expecting Jan to hit me with the Three Stooges right there.
Oh.
Would they like the Three Stooges in kayfabe? Would they even know what their mission is?
No.
No.
Is there an arrow? Or is
No.
it just it's like Goat Simulator? It's just throw them in a city and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere between Goat Simulator and Hitman. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, finally.
Yeah. We've all been clamoring for this, y'all.
That's why we have the word clamoring for this very
Yeah,
I'll
frothing
play the
demand.
shit out of that.
Right, right.
Frothing. Yes, that would be incredible. I wonder if they hear that, they're like, what the hell are these guys talking about?
You invite them to the studio one time.
All right. That does it for the news I have here. Jen, I'm handing the show back over to you, Mother.
Mother, fantastic mother. We're going to read some e-mothers after this quick break. Emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. Write any and everything if you want to avoid an awkward social situation and maybe your date goes to the bathroom and you just have no one to text. Send us an email. If you got a fun quiz you're thinking of, send us an email. If you see a fun, cute dog in the street or it's your fun, cute dog, send us an email at bombcast@giantbomb.com. First email today comes from Alice, and I don't know if Alice intended for me to read this email on the podcast, but this is just going to be another thing that I'm not going to clear with anyone else. I'm just going to say, and it's just going to be law now. Hello. I got really depressed about a year ago and bought a restaurant-grade hot dog roller. I've already filmed trying to cook a Totino's pizza roll on the roller, parentheses, doesn't work. But if you want me to try other foods, I can do so. Also, I live in LA. If you just want to borrow it anytime you have shows, you can. Alice.
Well, there we go.
Alice, you can come to GB at night.
Roll!
Yeah.
Alice, you can come to GB at night if we can borrow this hot dog roller.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, GB at night, the little green room we got, it's always been a fun time. I feel like it's just been growing bigger and bigger. It's got a nice party atmosphere. You know what that party's missing? Hot dogs.
Roller can. Yeah.
See if a cucumber could roll.
Yeah, there
Roll
you
like
go.
the 5 dice from the Yahtzee tumbler onto it and see what happens
right.
with dice. Yeah.
A floppy steak. I just want to see
Floppy
it.
steak's good.
Tater
Yeah.
tots.
Mm-hmm.
Shoe.
Shoe.
Dan shoe.
Yeah.
Dan
shoe.
shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
An apple.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good
Pickles.
roll.
Yeah. Cereal.
Oh, syrup.
A whole box of cereal. Yeah.
Syrup. Syrup's not going to roll.
Milk.
A bottle of syrup might.
Do you have insurance on this roller? So we
Yeah,
might
Alice, I
destroy
can't
it.
Does
guarantee.
Alice have insurance?
Alice, if you
roller insurance.
if you intended on I don't know, using this restaurant grade hot dog roller to open up a hot dog cart, maybe you shouldn't lend it to us because
How big is a restaurant grade? Could we put a watermelon on that bad boy?
Ooh.
I saw a video of it. Maybe like if we cut a watermelon in half.
You can get one of those mini watermelons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Genetically modified.
they make
Why
them
are we
smaller?
modifying these things genetically if not to see if they will roll?
It's true.
Pumpkin.
Ooh,
Pumpkin.
pumpkin.
Gourds.
Laser
Gourds.
disc of Terminator 2.
Right.
Yeah.
The cassette tape.
You guys ever put a CD in the microwave?
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
Friends did it in my microwave
too
in my
scared.
dorm room. So
Sure.
Yeah.
What about marshmallows?
Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah. Forks.
man.
Ooh, yeah. See
Okay.
how toasty they can get before they just like slip down. Yeah.
Yeah. Peeps.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we could just start a whole new podcast about
Will it roll?
gleefully asking each other, will it roll?
Mm-hmm.
And just think about the possibilities it opens up from there. Wow.
Yeah.
Another hot dog roller, perhaps.
Oh, now we're talking.
Ooh, wait. Marbles.
Yeah, we could have a marble
I was
race
thinking
and
about
we'll roll.
marbles. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bones.
Yeah. Full skeleton.
And we'll leave it at that. Whether they're human bones or not, we'll find out later this year. Travis and Fargo continues to write in and dominating the email segment by just having a bunch of rapid fire questions. Travis offers 4 questions to us this week. Did you accomplish what you wanted to this summer?
Fuck no.
Hell
Yes. Absolutely.
Ever.
No, absolutely not for shoot. Next question from Travis. I'm finishing up writing my annual Halloween D&D mini campaign, and this year it's tangentially related to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Do you have any fun, spooky suggestions for thematic traps or villains?
The big chair that talks will eat you if you land on that space. I don't know if there's spaces in D&D.
Yeah,
but-
Large Marge.
An
That's an
entire
easy one.
campaign that is just a recreation of Night Trap.
Night
Oh.
trap.
Ooh, the giant dinosaur that Pee-wee goes in one of those movies.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Comes to life and eats him. Or it turns out it's a shoot dinosaur this whole time.
An adult movie theater with have police patrolling it.
Okay. A gang of bikers throws a bottle of tequila at you, and it's a negative against you.
You get an offer to be in a Johnny Depp movie about cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Honestly, right now, I don't know anything about Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman's stuff that's
I know the
probably
movie
worth
theater
checking
thing,
out.
that's
He was
about-
tremendously talented. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
I
he's
know.
like shoot
dead?
funny.
He's dead.
Yeah, he just died a
Okay.
couple years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. 2 more questions from Travis here. If it was revealed at noon tomorrow that every bottle of Mountain Dew on store shelves would increase one's lifespan by 6 to 12 hours, what do you think would happen to society?
It'd be like gas stations after 9/11, where everyone's like, there's going to be like lines at every grocery store and gas station to go buy all the Mountain Dew, and it'd all be gone within like a day.
Yep.
And yeah, people would be drinking it a lot.
And then I think that there would be like the CEO of the Yum Corporation who owns Pepsi. Is it the
Yum Brands is Pepsi, Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza
Mr.
Hut.
Yum would
Yeah.
become like a god king
Yeah.
and would hoard most of it and would only dole the spare bottles he has upon his most loyal subjects.
I think they should give the Mountain Dew to the hospitals and the people who are sick. I think they should get all the Mountain Dew. In this scenario, not normally.
You think like retro Mountain Dew becomes like a delicacy at that point? Like the Metal Gear Solid 4 cans become this lost relic of a different age?
Yes.
Because it would become like a medical thing. Yeah, and they would change the
Right.
cans to be boring.
I mean, so yeah, because like if you did have access to all the Mountain Dew, you would outlive everybody, and it would be like, 10,000 years from now, if you were able to drink enough. Do you think you'd be able to drink enough Mountain Dew to live forever?
Well, no, there's a finite amount of Mountain Dew.
Well, you could keep making more Mountain Dew. No, you could make more
Well,
Mountain
the
Dew every single
factory
day.
is still working fine, but like there is going to be like a heat death of the universe, so I don't think you can say forever.
Well, what if we
Oh,
pour
good
Mountain
point.
Dew on the world?
That's ridiculous.
Pour Mountain Dew into the sun.
Yeah.
Don't. Now we're just being stupid.
6 to 12 hours longer of sun. Yeah.
All right. Last question from Travis here. What's the most elaborate Halloween costume you've ever made or worn?
I think probably the Raccoon Mario when I was a kid.
Okay.
I was like, that was a whole get up. I also had like zombie makeup one year, but that was like, I don't see this in stores anymore. They had zombie makeup where you would just like put on a layer and then you could like peel it off and it would look like skin was coming
Oh,
apart.
yeah. They still do that. Yeah.
Do they still have that? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I did that a couple years and that was fun.
I don't know. I don't usually dress up for Halloween.
You're already dressed as a clown.
Ah.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. What did I do to you this
I
episode?
don't know. I'm sorry. I just came hot and heavy.
So I think the most elaborate thing I've ever done is back when this movie first came out, I dressed up as Johnny Depp's take on the Mad Hatter. Like
Okay.
full makeup and everything, and like the hat, the wig, the clothes, everything. It was pretty elaborate. Like getting I was in that was like the end of high school when that came out, like the early 2010s. So yeah, I went to Goodwill with some friends and we were very thrifty with our stuff.
Oh,
that
yeah.
year.
Okay.
I went to
Okay.
Goodwill once and went for Halloween as a vampire pimp.
Hell yeah.
It's the most on
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah, I was like 16. I don't know. It was very cool.
I've made a couple elaborate cardboard costumes for Halloween, but for some reason, when I read this the first time, I thought of in the second grade when I, for whatever reason, begged my mom, can I be Zorro for Halloween?
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
So I went on the bus home with my little pencil mustache that my mom drew on my face, and like the hat and like the mask and everything with my little sword. It was great.
Nice.
I love Zorro.
It's not elaborate. I was Slash once, and I went to a bar, and there were 2 other Slashes. I'll put a picture in the chat there. So it was just,
okay.
3 Slashes hanging out. Yeah. So you
Oh.
can figure out which one's me.
Incredible.
Oh, I was gonna ask, is this when you had the slash hair? But
No, I had to wig for that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I actually don't know. Are you?
I think it's the middle.
I was gonna say right.
The left one, right?
Well, left maybe.
A middle slash.
Middle
Oh,
slash. All
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Middle slash.
Hit the one in the middle.
Okie dokie, gents. What is this? No, okay. All right, fine. Next email. Don't have who it's written by, but this person has a question about the Gears of War franchise.
That's not what that says, does it?
Nope, I totally wrote it wrong in my head and out loud and on this page. I've never played any Gears of War seriously. Maybe y'all can answer this lingering question. Does any bad guy ever tell the main character, "You look like Carcass Phoenix to me," and then attempt to kill him?
No,
I feel like that should happen.
it's
though.
not really a quippy like Arnold one-liner series so much. It's a big dumb action series, but not really quippy. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's too good of a joke for that series.
Sure, it's a serious series about war and philosophy and stuff.
Sure, yeah. A lot of metaphors.
Yeah,
It was
a lot
very
of
gray,
metaphors,
wasn't it?
Very brown game.
A lot of brown.
Gray. But it was like
Browns and
it was back when
earthy
brown and
greens.
gray were basically the same color, and that's all the Xbox 360 could produce.
Yeah. Instead of orange and teal with movies, it was just brown and gray.
Brown and gray.
All right. Final email comes from John from Greece. What the hell happened to mini consoles? And they disappeared from the face of the earth? A mini PS2 would be great. A Nintendo 64 Mini would be amazing. And I would kill for a GameCube Mini with an itty bitty handle. Oh my God, so cute. Thanks, John from Greece.
I kind of blame them for like I always liked messing around with like emulation stuff and everything, like back in college and downloading programs and stuff. But then like, oh, you can hack the NES Mini and then put all this other stuff on it. Like that was super fun. And then I remember Ron Funches was on the Beastcast and told me about the NVIDIA Shield Pro that he just carried around with him when he was on tour. And he's like, I've got all this. I got RetroArch on here with everything. And like, so it was like the mini consoles and like the NVIDIA Shield that like kind of started this whole crazy descent into misters and, you know, all sorts of emulation and then just buying the shoot stuff. So I kind of blame them for that. And I love them. And I've always wanted the 64 one. I've wanted the game as much as I don't like the Game Boy. I would love a Game Boy Mini. I would love an SP. Well, do I? Because I basically had that. I've got an SP and I've got EverDrives for everything. I've got Game Boys. I got Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color with EverDrives for all of them. I've got an analog. I've got 9,000 ways to play every game I'm talking about. So what the fuck am I talking about? Shut up. Me. Shut up, me.
You would still buy one. I would too.
Oh,
Yeah, you would buy one.
You get several. One to keep sealed and a couple to say I would play and then put in a drawer. Yeah.
That being said, me and Grub both know the reason they stopped is because we reached the point where it'd be too difficult to produce one and just not cost effective.
Exactly, not cost effective. Yeah, these things. The N64 was surprisingly just a little bit more complicated. Also, licensing rights gets a little bit more as things get newer and newer. It's like it's going to be a little bit harder to get games from third parties, and I think they're just like it's not going to be worth it.
N64 is the last console you could have done a mini with. Yeah, and even that would have required a more powerful chip than they were putting in those machines to run at like full speed. And then once you
I bet they could make it cost effective now, but they just seem like we're just going to make it Alarmo and sell that for $100.
Well, even still, they were basically doing like Raspberry Pi. What would that have been, like 3-ish era chips?
Yeah, the 4 would be able to
struggles.
do it pretty easily, though.
Right, but that struggles with N64 and a more expensive chip, a newer chip. That would cost more. And then you get into PS2, you actually start needing like at least a mini PC to do PS2. So that's why we've never gotten anything more than that.
Right.
How many of us pre-ordered the analog 3D?
Not me.
Okay, me.
Weird. The old white guy's a giant bomb. Once again, spent a lot of money on something.
Hey, it plays Nintendo 64 games. How else are we gonna do that?
I did. I also pre-ordered the controller.
I did too. Yep.
Controller looks real good.
controller's awesome.
I might get one of those. Yeah.
Sure did. Yep.
Yeah.
If it supported Open FPGA, I would have been there day one. But because it just plays N64 carts and that's all it does, like
Get a
either
Mister for that.
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm waiting.
Mister
for,
can also play 64 now, so
uh,
with N64 controllers on a CRT, which I do, so I really can do everything. Well, no, this is for HDMI. That's why I got this. That's why.
And
which the Mister can also do.
Mister also has HDMI, but is the Mister N64 core? Is it like 100%?
It's like
it's
up to snuff enough. Yeah,
Okay.
they're still working on it. It's still getting there. It's still a work in progress. So analogs probably will be better when that comes out sometime next year. But yeah, they're still working on the Mr. Core. I'm waiting for, Taki Udon is starting to do all of his Mr. Clone stuff. I'm waiting for his promised Mr. Handheld.
Yes.
Because he said he did confirm that we'll have video out via a dock and maybe even just USB-C. So a Mr. Handheld that's just I can play.
It was also
Mr.
pretty
quality,
affordable because it's
Mr. Quality simulation in a handheld form. Also dock it, and he said the target is 150. Like,
yep.
that would be awesome. And
Sounds
that
perfect.
That would be my FPGA, like, Mr. that style of gaming device.
Did he ever do his open source scan converter clone?
No, because that's going to be built into the high end product that he's
Right.
going to
Okay.
use.
That's right.
Yeah,
They're going to do it all
seems
in one.
like it seems like, Jeff, it's going to be a new PVM, by using like a modern like OLED screen and filters to get the same effect.
Yeah, I was like, I hope that's cool. I hope that's good. People like
I hope they
we're
pull
talking
that
about
off.
like something that could basically pass as a CRT.
Yeah, it would be a little thing you put on your desk, like a PVM, like what is that? What you have back there, Grub?
This is a personal video monitor from Panasonic, so it's not like a Sony.
Those
one,
extend pretty far back. I assume this would be
Yes.
kind of like a cube little thing you can put on like the edge of your desk, and then also you could output to a TV or something if you want to play on something bigger.
OLEDs are definitely the way to go for that because you can really just fake the CRT effects pretty effectively with that. So yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, mini consoles, like we look at what Nintendo did, they had a couple, and then they did a couple of the handhelds. They did the 2 of the Game & Watches, and now they're doing Alarmo. That is the lineage there of here's the holiday product, and we're putting a little microchip and a little screen on a device. What are we going to do with it? And I think they're like, instead of an N64 or another handheld, we're just going to start making like little weird boutique items that we could sell for a lot of money. And it worked on me.
It's very profitable. By the way, just real quick, because we were mentioning that last discussion, Open FPGA is what allows you to play other cores, other systems on the analog pocket. Yes, I know analogs consoles never do that. That's because the consoles came out before Open FPGA. So
right, and
kind of hoping that would be on this one.
Yeah, but it's on the analog pocket. And
I think it probably wasn't.
Really well
it wasn't on the Duo either, which I think was at least in production before the Pocket. It may have come out after the Pocket, but so that doesn't.
I mean, they might keep it as a proprietary feature for the Pocket, or an exclusive feature for the Pocket. That's weird.
Either way, the 3D's firmware will get jailbroken. You'll be able to do that. So when that happens, if I don't already have like a Mister, then I'll pick that up.
Yep, 250 is I think a good price for. I was looking I was already thinking about getting an N64, one that like HDMI I'd use on the big TV. Yeah, let's go.
It's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper than getting a HDMI mod N64.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Okay. That about does it for emails this week. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. Boys, what did we learn today? We learned all about different types of balls, water balls, ball coins. We learned that these three, sorry, he just jimmed the camera. These three and Mike Minotti just won't stop running. They can't stop speed running Astro Bot. We also learned that Jeff Grubb may potentially have an Oedipus complex. Shouts out to moms out there. Hot dogs, hot dogs, hot dogs. We learned that there's no more menacing sight than seeing the Dark Knight, Batman, cross-chopping fools, especially if it's you leading him through a cross-chop. We also learned that Fleaman sucks, and we learned that Dan is indeed the middle slash. Folks, we got a lot of stuff popping off on the website every damn week. But Game S Mornings popping off for the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday, Ghost and Gremlins returns. Maybe we'll play more than one scary game, but who knows? I really like that Muppet one from last week.
Yeah, it was fun.
And also, what comes back, Return of the King. No, not Lord of the Rings 3. Lucy James returns to the Blight Club to continue her journey through the Blight. Oh, Lucy, I'm so sorry, my dear friend. Thursday, Connectivity Compadres gets back together to play Echo Point Nova, as well as Voicemail Dump Truck popping off later that day. Friday, we will have BCR. We're going to determine the Mount Rushmore of spoopy games, as well as having the Astro Bot Invitational, too.
Elections coming up. Mount Rushmore presidents. It's a good idea.
Maybe we should do it. I don't know.
We could
New Mount Rushmore.
Well, how about we do video game presidents? Like we could do that.
Oh,
See, he wasn't talking about that, everybody. He was talking about presidents.
Definitely not the Nino Cooney 2 guy. Fuck that guy.
I said that. I said that, and Grubb was like, "We already got one of those Mount Rushmore presidents." Like, oh, that is the whole gimmick. Yeah.
Yes, and then you said, "I sometimes surprise even myself."
I was very surprised by that,
and I was like, "Holy shit, that rules!" I was so excited.
Boys, we got anything else popping off this week? Oh, you know what? Extra Life is coming, gentlemen.
Right.
A whole slew of fun folk are heading over to Dan's place to do Extra Life all together in person. I can't wait for
Yes,
that.
next
It's exciting.
weekend on November 2nd. That's when we are confirmed doing the Midwest stuff over at Dan's place, starting at around noon Central, going just way late into the night like we do every time. Whole bunch of hijinks we're starting to plan here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Jan, you're planning on doing stuff that same weekend at some point.
Yeah. If you missed it at the top of the show, if you're watching live, I'm going to do 12 hours of The Quiet Man in silence.
Yeah.
And also,
Quiet Jan.
Restart it.
And also, if I say anything audible that gets picked up on the mic, we're going to restart it. But also,
You're gonna have a meter. You're gonna have a gauge.
we're going to have a
There'll be-
voice meter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Donations $69 and above. I'll just have to restart that game,
after
but not
the opening
after
cutscene.
watching. Not after watching that opening cutscene.
It's gonna
So
be
it's like
good.
4 69s coming in a row.
That means you have to watch the opening cutscene 4 times before you can make progress in the game.
That's
It
right.
might be 5 hours before you control that game.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. You're right. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Hell yeah.
He's not going to beat the game. There's no fucking way.
No. But this is the way it was meant to be played. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if somehow we manage to beat the game, somehow, we're going to keep playing it. We're going to keep playing it until we finish those 12
Jan.
hours.
Oh my god.
What you did? Wow.
I think the 12 hours will come first, Jan. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never know with our audience. It's the best video game audience, as you say, Jeff Grubb. But you know what else, Jeff Grubb, is happening later this year?
What's happening?
One night. We're going to
night.
do one more night in Los Angeles. GB at night. The night right before the Video Game Awards.
Wednesday, December 11th?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
It is not a ticketed event, so no worries, folks. We will be streaming it live from the Phantom LA studio. Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of fun guests as we normally do. And folks, maybe keep your peepers peeped right before the Game Awards. Stuff yet to be announced, but some big things popping off. Mr. Backlar spinning lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of plates. Boys, that about does it for the Giant Bombcast. He's been Dan. He's been Sean. He's been Grubb. I've been Jan. You at home have been fantastic. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Podcast. I love you. Goodbye. Man in the Black.